Cranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Cranky, and this is the Cranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Cranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Cranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Cranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
I was talking to myself as usual. I thought I had hit the safe button. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining the Cranky Life podcast. I am excited about today's show. Bless up Jason Gooner. Thanks, Jason. I just realized that too. Bless up Drew Ross. I have a lot to talk about. This show is gonna go south today. I can tell right away before I even start doing the show. It's gonna go south. As you can see from the headline, people think I'm doing thumbnails to create controversy. No, I'm just doing a thumbnail based on what I think it should be. Thumbnails, don't say thumbnail, can't we do? Forget the H. Thumbnails are meant to draw interest, but I'm not trying to overextend those thumbnails. I think yesterday, thumbnail was a little bit regrettable in terms of the British reject, because when I was doing the title, what happened was it only had 100 characters you can put in. I was like, what am I supposed to do? I got to write the long-winded one for the coach piece, and I couldn't think of something much more abbreviated. So I did it. So, yeah, I did call explosion. I'll talk about that actually. I'll talk about that a little bit actually. But it was interesting discussion. I got quite a bit of feedback. Well, I should say some backlash from yesterday's show, and you'll be surprised. One of the persons who gave me backlash, which is in the form of bless up Farouk, in the form of what's his name? Football nonsensical or football. I don't want to use a more derogatory term, but whatever. Cranky, make sure you come here to educate on war today. no. People. When I'm trying to make this a more appropriate story now. I told you I'm trying to be Phil Donahue. You probably may not know that. Or what's his name? Oprah Winfrey. Those type of shows. Shows where people feel good about the show. They want to attend. They want to have fun. But it's not going to always be fun. There's going to be some controversies involved. Bless up Float Management. Thanks for joining. So you know what I'm thinking go. And when Football Guru, I'm going to read what he writes. Come at me, he comes hard, people. He comes hard. And I have to laugh. Hey, Football Guru, wherever you are, you're on TikTok. And Football Guru, TikTok. There's another gentleman. I forgot what his name is, but he hopefully comes on. Phil Donahue. Yeah. I by the way, people, I must say something. And we won't go there yet. We have nothing to talk about. So I'm seasoned. I'm seasoned. I don't know why this thing keeps typing when I talk. Let me turn this nonsense off. Yeah, the voice is on. And it's just destroying my stuff. Jesus. Okay. Let me finish this. Done. Let's start over. I have this app here, which is just going wild, people. Just messing up my stuff. Anyway. But no, we're gonna talk about a number of different things, people. The conversation is gonna go south, north, east, which is sometimes how it should go, actually. Sometimes it's too formal and structured and practical. I have to do other things sometimes. So no, it's not. Yeah, it's AI. But I didn't ask for AI to come up, I'm in my notes on iPhone. I don't know why it's just going haywire. Haywire, as they say. But anyway, but the person came hard at me, and I'm going to struggle today, people, with this AI thing. The person came hard at me for some reason. Well, not for no reason. The person is from the JFF, not happy with me in some things I say. Believe I'm berating the coach. And I heard even A.M. Henry's yesterday say I was being disrespectful to the coach. I don't think I said anything bad about the coach. I said this is not a retirement job. Let me say something, people. Because I was watching that episode of Make We Talk. I was talking about FinSac and what happened in Jamaica. I didn't even have all the particulars on that. So I got to do my own research. Maybe even do a show on it one time. But let me just say something, people. It's about time we start bring people to beer. And if you can't take the heat, then leave the kitchen. And if the pressure too hard, then run like how Rudolph run off of YouTube. I'm going to care why I'm about saying run off of YouTube can't take the pressure. Because you know what the pressure is? It's real pressure. It's calling out things that should be called out that are not appropriate and are not okay. And if you can't stand the truth, me can't help you. I'm not there to pamper you. I'm not there to make your life difficult, but I'm going to call what I see. If it's something that if it's conflicts, I'm going to call it out. If it's something illegal and inappropriate, like quota, I'm going to call it out. And if you don't like it, I can't help you. I got some backlash too for the presentation I did last week Friday on the illicit enrichment. And I found that interesting, actually. Yes, I'm gonna play the Alan Skill code. Hey, me have all that now, Paul. Me have the Alan. Me play it to them. Me play it. Me get it. Me play it. Me play it. Me have it recorded. But now I'm gonna play the video. Cause me no want nobody come capture me copyright. But me play the thing and show a skill code picture. Me have all of that. That's our lineup. That lineup. So the middle of the dissertation is open soliloquy first. Then we go into it. So I'm on the show. On the show I did last Friday, I got a lot of positive comments. Let me say that first, because it's not all negative. But I got some backlash. People say I'm not informed. I don't know the history. Blah blah blah. All I did was repeat basically what was in the Integrity Commission report, and in doing so, also bring out some things, because I'm an auditor, about what I heard and what I saw. And the funny thing about it is, I got a call from someone who is in financial services, who worked at a large financial services firm on Wall Street, who I had known for years. I used to play football with, actually. And we were talking about, and he was saying, yeah, you did a good job of doing X, Y, Z. And he's walking me through what audit does, because he doesn't do audit. He's in risk management. He gets audited. And he was like, yeah, everything you say is exactly how it works. The process, the vetting process, how long it takes. I was just laughing, listening to him talk. I was like, damn, he knows a ton about audit. And he's not in audit. He's in risk management. But he's been through an audit process. And he knows it works. And he gets it. And he gets the report. And in fact, he's much more informed to me than around Jamaica, because he's from Jamaica. He went to UE. He went through all that process. He worked in Jamaica. I have never worked in Jamaica. I left in my late teens, or in my teens. But he was educating me about some of the things and what happens. And I was a little bit interesting. I thought it was interesting. I thought his knowledge was great to see somebody who can relate to what I was saying. But I'm not a JLP or a PNP. So to say Crown could leave Jamaica government alone, and it goes back to the whole diaspora question, divide, as to why you people think that because you live in Jamaica, and some of the people in the diaspora are like that too, or that because you're born in Jamaica, you are more Jamaican than anybody else. And a lot of you born in Jamaica and come here to send back the gun them, you're the worst kind of Jamaicans. Right? You're the worst kind of Jamaican. So, but I'll go to the skill code thing. So today I did call into, why is something called again? Let me see something called it. Sports Explosion. I think that's Oral Tracy show. And it's funny because I tried to call in yesterday. So they have a number. When you go online, there's a number. And I called the number and sat there on that number for like half an hour and realized the number was to get into the show, not to call into the show. Right? I don't know where the number to call in the show is. He mentions the number, but I thought it was a number for the diaspora. And let me say this to you, Oral. I'll bring it up, Oral. I think it's cool for the diaspora, and after I spend so much money to make the call. You guys could set up a WhatsApp number. You could make it a business number. You could charge a fee for overseas for the call. But the net worked out would be you get a fee on your end, and on this end, we pay a fee, but it's much less than what it costs us. Because I had to go buy I buy a phone card online. It's not the most expensive thing. But I thought there'd be a better way to do it. So I thought there was a WhatsApp number that they pay a fee for and you call in, and it wasn't. But anyway, I did call into the show. I didn't hear the entire show. There were a lot of comments. There were a lot of good comments, some good callers, very intelligent calls. But one of the call was about the comparative between Walter Boyd and Leon Bailey. And I was a little bit surprised to hear when so many people think that Walter Boyd in general was a better player than Leon Bailey without providing real good context. So what do I mean by that? A number of things. It is hard, very hard to cover people or to really provide really good comparison of players from different eras, right? The whole concept of Pele versus Maradona versus Messi versus Ronaldo, it's very hard to do so. First of all, there are different eras and different things happen in different eras. It's like trying to compare NFL players or compare basketball players. So what do I mean? In today's sports, we have reduced what I call the savagery of sports. So in NFL football, people just tackle and hit you any place, anywhere. And when people finish playing, they commit suicide or they can't walk. You look at Earl Campbell, big, strong, run over people, can't walk 2 yards now without getting tired. And that was right after he was finished playing. Or you look in basketball with the Pistons in the 80s who just clothesline people. You can't go to the basket, right? Now you can't touch anybody going to the basket. Or in football, Pele in 58 World Cup or 62 World Cup getting chopped down by the teams he played again, just tackling him at his waist. Or even in Jamaica, we have players like Hagler or Billy Perkins, who when they're coming across the field, you need to go find someplace to hide. Because they're taking man, ball, sideline, referee, everybody's getting destroyed, right? So it's different eras, and you can more express yourself more in this era because if they're very focused on offense, and your offense is everything. They want a spectacle, they want entertainment, so they've reduced the physical contact. And frankly, some of the physical contact was unwarranted. What people get yellow card for in the Premier League now is a joke. If you pull somebody back, you get a yellow card. Like, really? Yellow card is supposed to be dangerous play. You know, dangerous play pulling somebody back. But they've sort of made it where they want to make sure it's offensive, it's entertainment, it's money. So things have changed. And also some of it was just too brutal, frankly. It's not humane. Right? So let's go to the Bailey versus Walter Boyd. So I watched Walter Boyd play. In fact, it's funny. If I think about Jamaican football historically and players, there was Alan Skill Cole, who we'll talk about a little bit, who was the best in Jamaica at one point and unequivocally the best. Subsequent to him, there are other people in fitting that mold. I think Herbert Dago Gordon, who I knew pretty well. Skill Cole was late 60s, early 70s. Dago was early 70s, but Dago migrated pretty early after high school, came back to play major leagues with Boys Town and won some trophies, but lived in the New York area, went to college and then played local ball here and was a big player in Brooklyn, play against in Haitian League. When he played, they put money in his shorts, treat him like a king. Very good footballer, knew him really well. And then subsequent to that, you probably had, so that was 70s. You had a lot of players, Den, Hyde. I think they're good players. I don't think they're at that level with these players I'm talking about. Then Walter Boyd was the next one after that, right? I know seen Den play. I don't think Den was in Dago's class. I don't think either Den or Hyde were like Skill or Dago. And this is not biased because of different eras, people. And because I try to stay out of the recency bias thing. When things are immediately in front of us, we think it's better. Or when we grew up, we try to say those people when we grew up were the best. So here's what people are missing in this whole equation. What was the level of competition you're facing? There is no comparison between Walter Boyd and Leon Bailey. Let me say that again. People seem to be missing this. There is no comparison as it relates to club football between Walter Boyd and Leon Bailey. Why do I say that? I used to watch Walter Boyd a lot. In fact, when he came to New York, one year he played for my team in the Bronx. Stadium sellout. He just was ridiculous, actually, in that game. Played well for my team. We won. Everybody went home happy. He's an entertainer, right? Then he played out in Colorado, I think with Lorne and others, and I watch him weekly. Games were on TV. I just watched them because Walter was playing. I don't watch that kind of football. And I think Dingy, too, was playing, who used to play for my team also, right? And Walter's a brilliant. I only watch him because I love watching Walter play football. But Walter Boyd's club achievement do not compare to Leon Bailey, people. We're getting confused. Walter Boyd played a lot of football in Jamaica. He played in England a little bit. He played in Colorado Rockies a little bit. Walter Boyd to me is like Ravel Morrison, a player with an abundance of skill and abundance of ability, but it was potential. That's why I was talked on. This is what I was saying on the Force Explosion this morning. By the way, people, it's my first time calling a radio station ever. I've called into a YouTube show. First time calling a radio station. It was interesting because you have to be there and wait, and they don't even tell you you're in what queue. You just sit down there and wait and hope them call upon you, right? I didn't enjoy that part of it, but Maverick was good. It was a good discussion. And he and I didn't differ in our perspective. But Walter Boyd was a brilliant footballer, but levels matter, people. When you're playing in the second division or third division in England, when you're playing Colorado Rockies, whatever the name was, with Lon and them, when you play in Jamaica, the levels matter. Here's the analogy with the levels, people. The new coach comes and says, he see Cavaliers beat Police 4 and how the team was impressive, Cavaliers impressive. The under 14 won 7-1 against French Guyana. And then when we go play against the US, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, it's a different ball game. Bailey is playing at the highest level. Yes, there's no comparison on a national level between Bailey and Walter Boyd. Boyd numbers much better. Boyd was more effective. Boyd produced more at the national level, right? But also, I don't think Boyd's teams played as much against the top teams in this region as much as what Bailey does. They did play against them, but the frequency of games may have been different, right? And Bailey hasn't played all the time for Jamaica, right? There was a thing about before he started and then subsequent to that how it works. Walter is much more loved in Jamaica. You know why, people? Here's the analogy which you guys should think about. So when somebody grew up in your backyard, and it's the same thing in England with the academy players, grew up in your backyard, you see them every day in schoolboy football, club football, you align with them, there's an affinity, there's an engagement, you love them, you hug, it's everything. They're part of you. Bailey left Jamaica at a very, very young age. Bailey has never played in a significant amount of football in Jamaica, and for the national team, it hasn't worked well. So even though Jamaicans love Bailey, and they appreciate Bailey because it's one of them, he's really not one of them, if that makes any sense. It's one of them because he's born locally. It's one of them because one locally done well. But he hasn't built up that resume playing local football in Jamaica to get that affinity and love that Walter has gotten. People saying Walter was more skillful than Bailey. I don't know if that's the case. Walter was brilliant, but who's he playing against? People, competition matters. Level matters. You think the under 14 team can go get a US Team 6? They gave 7 to French Guyana. We say, yes, it's great, it's wonderful. And watch Walter play. Walter was a brilliant. I've seen Walter up close and personal, and I've watched him remotely. And when he came to the Bronx, I remember him taking a ball and shift the entire crowd, and we all just oh and ha, right? Shift the team on the field and him shift the crowd nice stands, right? So we came to see, gave us entertainment. But in terms of effectiveness on the football field, there is no comparison between Bailey's career and Walter Boyd's career. There's none. Walter Boyd is Ravel Morrison. No, Ravel is Walter 2.0. Because here's the thing. I bet at the end of their career, and these people are going to beat me for this, I bet Walter and probably Ravel will be financially challenged, even how they live. Seriously. And Bailey shouldn't be. Bailey is playing Champions League football, people. Bailey is playing Premier League football. Bailey played Bundesliga. And in each of those, he has produced. There's no comparison. If you take somebody's resume, and I said I work for the Gleaner, and the other person I work for the New York Times, there ain't much comparison. They both work for newspapers, but one is a global, not well-known newspaper, one is a local Jamaican newspaper. We have 90% of the world don't know about. The Caribbean may know about the Gleaner, but not a ton of people outside Jamaica, except maybe the Diaspora. There's a big difference, people. Yeah, but people, levels and time matters. If Bailey was playing against all them Caribbean country regular, he may score 1 in 4 too. How many Caribbean competitions Bailey playing in? He ain't playing in much. He played 3rd time in Jamaica. At this age, he should be playing 6th time for Jamaica. Right? He hasn't, and also he's not comparable. As I said, he hasn't produced for the national team. That's not debatable. He hasn't. He's been poor for the national team, poor by his standards. But he's been effective in the Premier League. He's been effective in Bundesliga. He was effective at, where was he, Genk? You cannot dispute his accomplishment. And compare him to Walter. Now, if you want to compare people born in Jamaica, Sterling, and you go more back, John Barnes, and you go further back, Lindell Penna, right? People have played in the Premier League at that level, but Walter hasn't played there. So I don't see the competition at the club level. At the national level, yes. Huh? We can put Fuller in the conversation. Yeah, Fuller was a good player, but Fuller wasn't starting every game for Stoke and with that same accolade. No, Bailey is the best Jamaica has produced in terms of club accomplishment and at the men's level. Khadija Shah overall is the best that we have produced on a global level because she gets nominated for Ballon d'Or. I don't think it's even disputable about people who have played for Jamaica, not necessarily Jamaican born, but played for Jamaica. I don't think it's disputable. Yeah, Nigel, but Lindy's like Pele, other side, other mind, right? Timeline matters. Lindy did well in the Premier League not Premier League, the Division 1 way back when. I didn't even see Lindy play. I see highlights. I haven't seen Lindy play. But I think Lindy played in the 50s, way back when? And we're gonna be slaves to our own era, right? We're slaves to our own era. We are very much focused on our era, and our era is the best era. Especially when you're a teenager and you into a sport, that's the era that's best. So you hear people now talk about LeBron James being the best basketball player, and people like me, that's heresy to people like me. But I can understand how they got there, especially given his longevity. But I just thought Michael was a much more versatile, much more accomplished, and a player who dominated more, even though LeBron has dominated. Right? So that was the discussion this morning, right? I don't want to take the whole show because I going to spend 20 minutes on that. But I thought it was an interesting discussion. And I thought Maverick did a good job. I thought there were a lot of good calls in about that. I did think some people would try to bring in Demise and Lenny and Dennis Hutchinson. No, people. They're levels. There is skill. There is Diego. There is Walter. There are levels, people, and there's Bailey. There's levels. There are levels in football. And the level of competition, to me, is a key factor in determining how good you are. Not that you dominate. You can dominate schoolboy football and you can't play at the next level. We're seeing some of that now. So I'm not into that, people. I don't buy that. Yeah, Tapa, and they also were skilled players, right? We had a lot of skilled players. The best player in Jamaica's history is the goalkeeper. That's not even debatable. The best Jamaica football player probably ever. You talk about a national level, not in club level, national level, who was produced consistently. And we talked about this morning too, over and over, is Andre Blake. And Andre Blake should be getting much more flowers than he gets. Andre Blake is ridiculously good. And to me, Andre Blake can keep at any level, bar none. We don't care what people are saying. Any level. I know his feet, I shouldn't say his foot. The ball of his feet is not his greatest attribute. But preventing the ball from going between the stick, which is what your main job is, ridiculous. Ridiculous. And he probably should have played at a higher level. Not sure why he didn't take that risk. He's probably comfortable in Philly. But he's the best Jamaica football player ever that plays for Jamaica. Not necessarily the best football in terms of, because he doesn't play in the outfield, right? We don't give goalkeeper their due. But in terms of the consistent performance for the national team, I think over 70 caps, it's not even close. Not even too close. Yeah, Luton Shelton was the top goal scorer, right? Luton played well, but Luton career was also cut short. Right? Luton was also cut short. Now, bless up Coach's desk. Good evening. How are you doing? Hey, Coach Desmond, if you catch up with us, let me do this after the show. So next point. So I talked about backlash from yesterday's show, which was interesting, which I knew I was going to get, but it's part of being in this space. But by the way, people, I say this. For those of you who are giving backlash, maybe still to Jamaica business, I'm very sorry. I'm going to stay to Jamaica business, people. I'm going to stay to the business that I know nothing about. But if I don't know anything about it, I'm going to get into that business by learning about it. So I hate to tell you this, but you're in for a treat. You ain't seen nothing yet. Wow, me, I warm up. I did another expo. I wouldn't call it expose, but no, sure. Another topic sometime in the next 2 weeks. I do some research on it. Third item. I'm not the lowest talented, but I keep telling you people, this is levels. They're levels. And I say skill, Diego, Walter, Bailey. That's what I have. If you think about, people don't complain. Zidane is brilliant, right? A brilliant footballer. Ronaldinho is my favorite footballer, excellent. But when people talk about the best at the current era, they might talk about Ronaldo and Messi. They don't put nobody in the mix, right? Ronaldinho, my favorite footballer in the world. Maradona, I think, was brilliant, but they're not in the mix. I rate Ricketts over Blake. He won trophy. So, hey, football guru, you know Calvin Phillips won a trophy, right? Is Calvin Phillips better than Calvin than Rice, Declan Rice? People, me ask you something, people. That is so. You know, football guru. I'm gonna put people. Do you hear the comment there? He rates Ricketts over Blake because he won trophies. So he's the man on the bench or a goalkeeper who now keep my reserve. If he win a trophy, you rate him over Blake. Your reasoning is beyond belief. Okay, I see Wes Morgan at Legends of Football event with all legends of the game. He was the only player that played Jamaica that was left. They'll let that sink in. No, Wes Morgan has won a Premier League. Wes played really well. But I think for all the players that I've seen, I think still think Bailey's better than those players, actually. Now, Bailey's not consistent. Bailey doesn't do anything for Jamaica. Bailey's poor for Jamaica. Let's be frank. You know, when people talk to me about this Bailey thing, they think that I just like to beat Bailey. I cannot help the people them who believe that I am not unbiased. I can't help you. I seriously can't help you. I'm gonna say the things that I think are it's my perspective, right? So you maybe differ. We agree to differ. Bailey's the most accomplished Jamaican footballer ever produced in the men's category. It's not even debatable. Now, if Blake played in the Premier League and performed at the Premier League level, then he would be. But the kid went to Gang, right? He went to Bundesliga, hit the ball at the park, scoring against a big team like Bayern. When the Premier League had some of the highest goal contribution last year. What are we debating? Not because let me careful my words. He hasn't done well for the national team. I was going to use a more derogatory term. I'm saying stink up the place, but no, I said that. Oh, I did say it. Right? We at the end of the day, the kid is the most accomplished football Jamaica ever produced. It's not debatable. Even if he come from Toxic Boss. I'm people. Bless up Langsley Bake. Thanks for joining. So people, let's not debate this thing. Third item. So we are done with that. So I'm gonna call back into Camino me and Maverick will catch up at one point in time. You know them thing to go people, right? Strong heads or that work. And by the way, football guru, if you post your thing, football guru, cut you and post it, football guru. You sent to me today. Cut you and post it. I'm not gonna post it. Cut you and post it. I think you're very derogative. Well, cut you and post it. Okay? Yes, you know, you love to challenge my intellect, the football guru. And I keep telling you this. I sent my information to your boss. Tell him to give you a copy and read it. Then we can talk. All right? We do so. No. West played well. He was the captain. He played really well. I'm not denigrating West's achievements. What I'm saying in terms of pure football talent and accomplishment. So we can say winning a Premier League title is the ultimate accomplishment. But in terms of individual accolades and achievement, in terms of stats, for example, I think Bailey, and we're talking about locally born two people, right? So even though West didn't make the play for Jamaica, we're talking about locally born. That's what we focus on, right? That's why I said I didn't talk about some of the other players who play for Jamaica, or someone who came to the World Cup like Sinclair and all of them, and Powell. I didn't talk about those. What I'm saying is, that's why I say Skill, Dago, Walter Boyd, and Bailey. And Walter is probably one of the most loved footballer, maybe the most loved footballer. Because here's the thing, people. When you come from challenging circumstances and you have done well, people love you. Except you didn't probably have the best advice around you. Yeah, that's not debatable. What about Haka, my favorite scene? How much you said it in joke, right? Haka is not on the list. So let me go to the next topic, people. But you know what? I'm calling to I like Maverick show. A friend of mine texted me today, people. I haven't talked to him in years. We were in the military together. He was a lifelong military member. Really great friend. One of the best people you'd ever meet. And what he said to me, he said, I'm not gonna read what he said. Except he basically said, me hear your part, oh, sure. And basically say, well, you're one. So a good thing that. And he said, lick me and subscribe to my channel so I get another subscriber. By the way, people, you know, I haven't said this. So why do I have to say this every time that I'm on the channel? Right? I'm very disappointed in you people. I'm disappointed. So if you're new to the channel, then I forgive you. If you're not new to the channel, I have no idea why you haven't hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, why you haven't subscribed. I'm very disappointed with that. Because those of you who've been on my channel know I'm very miserable when it comes to those things, right? It's not okay for you to come on, because I need to get to 2,000 subscribers at the end of tonight. I'm at 1975. And by the way, people, here's what I'm tell you something. For those who are sports fans, want me to do the sports, it not look good. I'll tell them the truth. I did that show a lot. So when we do the sports show them, we get about 4 or 5 subscribers trickle in. You know, 40 something subscribers me get from Friday, you know. When we do the one called expose, we do the illicit enrichment, you know. I'm encouraged by that, people. Because subscribers count. And some people think it's cranky, you know, just do it for likes and vibes because they don't want to make money. It's not a money thing. But everybody like likes. And everybody like views. So well, if you know, like you want your program to reach as many people as possible. Or you're trying to effect something, whether it's change, or provide your perspective and want people to tune in, right? That's why people on YouTube. I don't do this for them health alone. I mean, a football guru I say, I look for likes. Of course, me I views. Of course, football guru. Everybody, that's how the program runs. That's what YouTube runs on. Why wouldn't I want that? But me tell you people, if me not see the number of subscribers and I grow in the trend that I would like, me a pivot. You know, me do a pivot program the other day, and me never really pivot because some people call me and say, no, you can't do that. Me I tell you, the 40 subscribers is a big deal for me, people. One day, right, me multiply 40 by 7 or 280 in 1 week, we can multiply. If we do 3 or 4 or 5 show, yeah, we can do that. So we'll see what happens, people. We'll see what happens. But I think the sports thing will get cut back more, and we'll do some more investigative type reporting. What's someone saying here? So can't mention Blake without mentioning Donald Ricketts. Like Blake Ricketts was also MVP in the MLS more than once, played in England. Yeah. No, Ricketts was very, very good. I don't think I've seen Blake have 2 bad games since he came from Jamaica. Seriously. 2 really bad games. You guys can remind me. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've seen Blake have 2 really bad games for Jamaica. Like every game I see him play, he's making some ridiculous save. We think about, we give Lowe a lot of credit for the Canada game to get the Nations League semifinal, and deservedly so. He was brilliant in the second half. We give Jamaica credit for beating and giving Antonio credit for scoring a penalty to beat Honduras. But in those two games, that was Blake. Blake, I said Lowe was the best player from Jamaica ever, and I still stick to that. But Blake was just as good in terms of preventing the ball from going in the net, which is what we focus on in football. Right? Blake, I'm telling you, Andre Blake is a ridiculous goalkeeper. And I don't think he get the acclaim that he should get from Jamaica. And sometimes you live outside the country, you get as much. So Amari Hutchinson, then I'm going to touch on Halland Skillcore. Make sure it's me have it thing. So Amari Hutchinson, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with these people. Because when I play for Jamaica, I know I play for Jamaica, and I can't spend enough time by you. But let me just say something about that, which is this. Amari Hutchinson is, to me, like a maverick person, right? He doesn't make decisions on his own. He left Arsenal after being there as what? Like a preteen. And was frustrated with Arteta, which I agree with, not giving opportunities, right? He then went to Chelsea, then pushed to go out on loan. Then he's now playing in the Premier League. He was at Chelsea, probably buried in the under-21. So he manages his career. And it's that for him and his family, right? He came and played for Jamaica, decided to go play for England, still had the option. That's his prerogative. I am not spending a lot more time on not reading no newspaper article. We don't really care. He move on, me I move on too, right? Good luck to you, kid. I hope you have a wonderful career, wonderful future. I hope England works out, but we're not spending enough time on you. We're done with it. We're done with it. We're done with you. You're probably a good person. We want you to do well, but we ain't spending our time trying to figure out and go through 10 different iterations of what happened. And decide it's his prerogative. Like cranky to start watch Reggae Boys. No, I'm not just start watch Reggae Boys. But and I know people look, we are sentimental to our eras, right? That's how we are in football. And it's not recency bias for Blake, because to me, Blake always playing good. Football Guru says, if there was a bad game for Blake, really getting us to the first division league too. Blake, man, I haven't seen him have many bad games. But you like who you like, Football Guru. You like who you like, and we like who we like. Romain says, from high school, Blake has been the best goalkeeper. Yeah, I think he's been a brilliant goalkeeper. Cranky, I saw some people. I showed some people our JPL game. They were laughing at our league yesterday or Sunday the games. Yeah, look, I think, and we're gonna play the Alan Skill Code thing because I think Skill Code also is and I won't say it's behind the times, but I think skill has some. Skill is always different. That's what I'll say. No, why isn't this thing showing up? Skill is always different. Always different. So let me take this out. So we're gonna listen to the. I hope this. You guys can tell me if you can hear this. Then we'll talk about it.
Upcoming CONCACAF Nations League fixtures against Nicaragua and Honduras. However, the appointment of the 63-year-old Englishman is still being questioned.
While most football analysts and supporters believe that Steve McLaren is the right man for the job, retired Jamaican international Alan Skill Cole disagrees.
I don't really support what I've been seeing. The reason why I'm telling you that, here's a big coach coming from Europe. You're coming from Europe and you don't have a job in Europe with all these so many clubs in Europe, and you tell me that this man is a big coach and him do have a job in Europe and come here. You bring him here because them say you can't lower English players to come and think. I don't accept that. If you're a big coach, you should have a big job. You should have a job in Europe because there are so many opportunities there. You come and tell me he's a big coach. What a big coach? It is just we get carried away. And you know one thing we get carried away is a white man. If it's a black man, you don't get none. But let me be straight. We get carried away with this color thing. That because a man come from England, a man come from there, we carried away. We must get rid of that crazy thinking. If he was that greater coach, he would have a big job. You come here and build his resume.
Brazilian René Simões created history 26 years ago when Jamaica qualified for the FIFA World Cup in France 1998. And the outspoken Cole was asked why Simões was able to get the job done.
One of the reasons why Simões was able to get the type of support, I'll say it again, and may sound that I'm a racist. I'm not a racist. Simões had the complexion, and people in the private sector, we still have a problem in our country. We still have a very, very serious problem in our country. And that's one of the reasons he gets along. Simões was a coach. Gam was the guy who had the knowledge. Simões was not a coach. If Simões was a good coach after he left here, without that resume we gave him, without a job, he didn't keep a job, not even for 6 months after that. Don't tell me about him. And I don't want a man to feel like there's any animosity or anything like that. But it's a reality. Let's face it, the facts are there. But he got this support because of his skin complexion. And we must get rid of those things. There's a big thing going on in Jamaica football. When they go away, they must be like a white man. I'm sorry.
And what about the constant recruiting of England-born players by the Jamaica Football Federation?
No, that is crazy. That is crazy. How can you develop the football in the country? You bring in players from outside of our national program to come and play a game 2, 3, 4, 5 days they bring him in. That's not arguing well for our football. It is not doing good for our football. That is one of the things that is destroying the football. What you're saying to me then, abandon the National League, abandon the Premier League, because you're not giving the players no incentive. You're not giving no opportunity to come to the fore, to make the transition. So for me, it's a no-no.
In 2010, Cole was presented with a plaque by then FIFA President Sepp Blatter.
So that was the gist of the what do you guys think about that? So a couple of things to respond to that. First of all, I don't think Simões got the role because of his skin color, right? Because I'm not even sure what skin color Simões was actually. I don't think that because of his skin color. I think the current administrative head saw him as someone who had certain skill set and attributes that would help the national team, and he worked out really well. If he can't coach, and he went around and find the right players and get us there, you shouldn't say that, right? And he's saying that someone else was a coach, but some people, Alex Ferguson didn't do coaching session at Manu. He sat on the sideline and sent people to the coaching. He was a manager, overseeing things. That's how football works nowadays. And you hear Pochettino talking about him and his staff. People have roles and responsibility. Secondly, about English players and the league then being in a difficult situation because recruit English players, there are a couple of things. One is we realize, and first I want to say this. These are Skill Code. This is Alan Skill Code's opinion, people. We have our opinions and our perspective. Opinions are not right or wrong. That's his perspective, right? And I respect his position, his perspective. Now, I think he's I think he's mistaken from this perspective, which is this. I don't disagree that the football in Jamaica needs to improve and develop and get better. I think the football has never been. I think people think that the football was better previously. I don't think so. I think we have revisionist history and hindsight view that's not reflective of reality. Right? We have exported more players overseas than probably ever in the history of Jamaica football. Now, they may not necessarily be all at the highest level. You know why? Because the highest level is more difficult to attain nowadays. When it was easy for Jamaicans to go to England, it's not that easy as it used to be anymore. Players are coming from all over the world. People have moved up further along than we have in terms of football development and pouring resources into football. So we have to catch up. That's what the JFF is trying to do, right? Laud them for that. Secondly, in terms of recruiting, I keep telling people this, we're not recruiting football players because, you know what, we just want to bring them here and have them play instead of the local players. We know we're not at the level we need to be. We see how we perform. First of all, they're citizens. So if a person who's of Jamaican heritage want to play for Jamaica, we shouldn't have the discussion, people. It should be a moot point. That's why you hear me have the whole thing about English reject yesterday, because that conversation is still there because of people like Alan Skillcole. All them people who are very seasoned, and as they call them in some places, old, a lot of them have this perspective. Not only some JFF members have this perspective, a lot of people in football, like the head of JPL, Stewart from Harborview, a lot of people have this view, and a lot of local coaches have this view. This is not new. But here's the thing. How many people from Brazil who play locally in Brazil are in the national team? They all get exported overseas. Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina. How much of them are playing locally? So when he talks about the local league and how it's going to transition, people not transition through their national team. They transition through their club teams and how they're doing. A lot of those players for Brazil don't necessarily get in the national team first before they play. Some of them do, some don't. So I think it's a little bit warped view in a sense, and not holistic in the approach in terms of thinking through what it is and how we're approaching it. Yeah, I know there's a lot. That's why we're going to talk about the diaspora divide today, people. That's why it's part of the conversation. Right? Oh, know yourself. You better say it on national TV. Know yourself. You better say it on national TV now. We need to know these things, people. We need to know what people are thinking. Can't hide behind closed doors and these things. We need to know what they're thinking. Right? No, the football in Jamaica needs to improve. Yeah, I know, J. Ross, I know, and people like Skill can't see that, right? They're blaming the English players for that, which have nothing to do with it. It's the programs that we have and the coaches that we have. The coaches that we have are not the level they need to be. The infrastructure is not the level it needs to be. So what happens is you don't produce the product you need to produce. If you don't have good machinery, produce your iPhone, you'll get poor iPhones. So life's there now. Am I taking calls? I'm afraid to take a call from you along the call. I'm afraid to take the call from you. I'm sure done. So you can call me, but you get extended time. You get 10 minutes. Call me, no, so you can't take more than 20. See? So I'll put it up longly. Put it up. I'm afraid that, I mean, when you come out, I'm sure done. All right? So you can call in, but you get maximum 10 minutes. I mean, I'll time it too. I know you're there. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think there are a lot of people in Jamaica who feels that way, right? There seems to be this it's man of God. All right. Man of God, good evening.
Even thank you. I come to say something, and Alan Skillcole.
Yes.
That man is a racist. And the only thing that man for is to chop in Philip on the sideline, and we have a video. We don't know what have we achieved. I don't understand how successful people are not successful. This talking about people who are successful.
Yeah.
It don't make sense to me. And I can't believe he's never win nothing for Jamaica. Where he win anything? They have him winning anything?
Actually, he does not. He's a strange. He doesn't have a lot of caps for Jamaica, I know. He was Jamaica best football for one time. I have a friend of mine who used to play with Skill and play with Jamaican national team, and he would tell me that when they go to the game, Skill would say, I'll tell you this, lace up my boots and say the money now. Maybe that's not a good thing, but he wasn't necessarily the most disciplined person, right? So you can understand how that works. He doesn't have a lot of caps for Jamaica, which is really interesting. And they didn't play as many games as now, but he doesn't have a lot of caps, and he didn't play a ton, actually, given the accolades that he's received. Because at one point, there was no dispute about him. Think about it, from the 60s all the way up to maybe till late 80s, 90s. And even today, there are people in his era who believe that he's the best Jamaican footballer. So he's got a lot of claim, but the production is like Bailey, for an example. Bailey has been the best Jamaican player in terms of accomplishment, and yet hasn't produced for the national team. So yeah.
Yeah, but if you ask them what he done to be the best Jamaican player.
No, just from that era, it's the people who play in that era, right? So it's not about him, meaning it's the best player Jamaica produced, not necessarily the best player who played for the national team in terms of production for the national team. Just similar to Bailey. If you look at Shelton's
yes, I
number
understand
versus
what you're
Bailey.
saying, I understand what you're saying, But if you ask them to give you a reason why they believe he's the best player Jamaica ever produced, they only got to refer to him chopping Pele on the sideline.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Now I you know what? When he was in his 50s, he came to New York and played a game, and I saw him. He still had some skills. I must admit, he had some skills. Man, the competition is not the greatest, but he had skills. The ball. If you watch him, because I didn't see him when he was really young, but if you watch him, because a friend of mine used to tell him that he used to come with Bob Marley, so he carry his boots down to Matches Lane, and used to play football, and he was to follow Bob a lot. That probably was becoming being Bob's manager, and they people revered him. People revered him from that time. He was a revered player. So I'm not going to knock him for his abilities, but I don't think he played a lot for the national team or produced for the national team. But locally, when he played, he was revered. Right? Okay, so we have to give him his credit. He was a revered player, and he went to Brazil to play football, so which says a lot about him. And I think the situation in Brazil didn't work out because of who he is. Probably another Ravel, in a sense, in terms of how he operated. But he was a revered player who went to Brazil to play football, which I don't think any other Jamaican have done that I'm aware of.
Yeah, so. but if you went to Brazil, we agree with that and but what has he done to have a say in what Jamaica is doing now?
No, I don't think he's been involved in football that much, actually. From a coaching, managing, I don't think he's been involved. But also, part of it is when you get older, people don't appreciate you as much, right, as a person, and they may not bring you in. And if you're as controversial as he is, and he's a maverick. If you hear stories about him, and I have friends who stories about him, he's a maverick. He's a maverick. And if you're a maverick and you do things differently, you operate differently, and you rub people the wrong way, as you see he has done here, because he doesn't hold his mouth, right? Yes. It's not like he's there trying to be political. He's not. He's like, I don't want any of these foreigners in my country. That's how I'm going to put it, probably including Diaspora too. I don't want these coaches who are not Jamaican. I don't want these players who didn't born in Jamaica. He's very localized in his thinking, even though he's a world traveler. It's not like Skillers spent all his time in the island. He's traveled all the world around with Bob Marley. So he's localized in his thinking, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna like that. Yeah? And I feel I've never left out of Jamaica. I've never considered to leave out of Jamaica. My father trying to force me to leave. But I have a mindset that this is the best place to play for Jamaica, and that is it. Once you have a passport, once you're paying tax, once you are involved, you're supposed to be the player who play for Jamaica. And the thing is, what I'm seeing with the persons who are advocating for local players are afraid because they know the players overseas are better. And the reason why they are better is because of development, where they have proper development and better coaches. And I've been saying this, we need to hold the clubs accountable for developing the players properly and getting qualified coaches and getting the coaches qualified.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, definitely. Look, I think the JFF is working on that, right? The JFF is mandating that anyone who coaches in the JPL has a B license and they're getting some pushback, they should just ignore those people. They should say, you know what? If you can't get a B license, then you know what? Which Rudolph's piece means basic. We don't want to talk to you. Go someplace else, go coach, because you're not. We're trying to achieve a certain level, and you're not part of the. You don't want to be part of the process. So I don't think there should be any debate about. In fact, I think they're going to increase that to A, right? At a certain point, is that 2026? That's what they should.
Yes.
The direction by the JFF is the right direction. And when they do well, I give them their flowers. You know, they think I always beat them. I don't always beat them.
Yeah, I agree that they're still going in the right direction. It's just that sometimes we are not patient enough,
right,
to see where it's going. So that's one thing. But the people them who advocate for the players, I prefer you call a player who is playing out of Jamaica, who is born here and playing out of Jamaica to come in the national team.
Right.
At least they are doing it at a high level and they are performing. I don't hear nobody calling for Junior Flemings.
No, that's not true. People are calling for Flemings. They're saying why some of the players are coming in, why Dixon versus Flemings, for example, or why Campbell versus Flemings. So people are calling for Flemings. There is a view that there is some history between Flemings and players or Flemings and the JFF, which is precluding from coming in because Flemings can be hot-tempered. Let's be honest. When I went to Florida and watched him play, I could hear him on the field saying certain things, which I don't think was okay. So you never know what the situation is. Or maybe people are not seeing him enough. But no, there are people calling for Flemings. In fact, when I JD channel, JD was calling for Flemings. Yeah.
Okay, so I was stand corrected then. But I agree what you were saying with yesterday about the person, or the coach was saying not knowing who to pick and not knowing the players.
Yes.
And I don't feel Marangan know the players either.
Well, somebody's telling them.
Marangan watch YouTube. YouTube Marangan watch.
What do you know the caller? How you know the caller? You probably know them.
May I give you an example. And tell me if you hear this name calling from YouTube. Corey Bennett.
Yeah,
you know that name?
I've heard the name.
You know that name?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, you hear the name?
Yeah.
You know that he has...
I don't know the player. No.
You don't know the player?
No.
Oh, you know that he has more goals than Romario Williams and the same amount of assists in the same league. In the same league, and only played 4 games more than Romario Williams.
So why isn't he gotten called then? Is it that he doesn't have certain skills that they're looking for, skill sets?
No, how you know if you are a forward and you're being productive in the same USL league that the player you're calling for,
right?
You call up. You must have some certain skills that you must have. That's the reason why you're scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, how nobody not talk about it? You hear nobody talking about him?
No.
The only person.
No, I haven't heard his name. No.
The only person I hear talk about him is Bamsport, and that's the reason why I know I have to play as well. So, man, gotta watch you two as me and you. And if you're short, I'm going to give you the next assignment. You're going to see some people will call for some players. They will see the players that I see in that spot.
Somebody just said that Corey Bennett doesn't play USL.
The person who said Corey Bennett doesn't play USL, the Corey that they're spelling is not so name spelling. Name spelling Khori.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay. Where is Corey Bennett from? He's born in Jamaica and grew up in Jamaica?
Born in Jamaica. I think he played for Wilmers.
Okay.
He's born in Jamaica and he's played, with the Cuba guy, the Cuba keeper. He's playing for the same team.
Oh, okay.
You see, who wanna just tell you the name?
Okay.
I understand. So I don't know. The man have 13 goal and 1 assist in 30 games. And Romaro Williams have 4 goal and 1 assist in 26 games.
I suggest you guys send the tape to Meran so you can look at it.
No, I don't think I was supposed to. Don't send
to the coach. The coach will talk to Meran. Don't send to the coach. You're going to talk to Meran. So don't send to the coach.
How would the say coach tape to Meran?
Send it to Meran.
At the same league, Mr. Tyreek McGee is in, and then you have Mr. Speedy. I know people don't want to hear his name. I'm not advocating for him to be in the squad because I don't feel he's to be in the squad. But if we are talking about Tyreek McGee being so well dominant in the USL League, why is not Speedy being considered? Because Mr. Speedy is been in the squad that Tyreek McGee is played longer and been performing as well as Tyreek McGee.
Here's my suggestion, Carla. Here's my suggestion. No, here's my suggestion, Carla. Tell Speedy if you call Meran. Tell Speedy if you call. Tell Speedy, send Meran a barrel. Send Meran a barrel. Say no, can't get recognized. Nah, Speedy not doing job. Hey, Speedy, I had to tell you this. Contact the coach for the national team in the Meran Garden. Contact him. And you get a chance. No, by the way, people, let me just say this. I like Speedy and I like Tyreek. I like both of them, actually. I watch them play up close and personal. I like both of them. I know Speedy doesn't do anything great, but doesn't do anything bad either. Nice player. Yeah. All right, Carl.
Yeah, but Speedy, before I go, Speedy position is where we shot the more. Because he's not playing PML, he's playing PDM.
Yeah. And
he's doing well. All right, thank you.
Man. Thanks for the call. I appreciate the call. Thank you. Good call. Thanks. All right. I know some of the people are trying to call in. People, I will not get to the other topics today, and we can't tell you that right now because the conversation I go. You touch on certain topics and it just get viral, people. By the way, people, 170 people here, 90 chat, 90 likes. I mean, I stop the program I do me used to do because my figures are not grown up, people. Figures are not grown up. I mean, I feel whine and complain about likes. But likes are important, people. So just hit the like button now. I mean, I'm begging thing down. I ask. So yeah. People say you don't think it. So Devon is saying you don't think he's at the level to make the Jamaica team. Well, the man says he scored number of goals and more goals than Romario. So Devon, are you saying that Romario is not the same level either? Good afternoon, Carla. Before you start, Carla. Hello?
Yes.
Before you start, let me just say this, people, before the caller starts. I got a text from a friend of mine who's from the UK, who's in Florida. I'm going to read the text. He sent me this text the other day, and he said, it's taking me 13 hours to drive 230 miles. The journey was awful. He's in Florida, driving up from Tampa to Fort Lauderdale. Everyone is trying to leave. Petrol stations are closed and out of fuel. Cars are parked on the side because they run out of gas. People are crying, screaming on the hard shoulder. I've never seen anything like this. We are facing water surge. So this was just, if you're in Florida, anyone, and you're up in the west or not area, no look good. I might be in the west, actually, not necessarily not, but go ahead, caller. Our prayers are with you, and hopefully everyone is safe. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, the situation in Florida is destined to get worse, especially as the Big Bad Milton strengthens and is back to Category 5 status.
Yeah. Oh, this is Pastor. Oh, you know what?
Yes,
we can't me dinner now. Hey, people, soon come back. Hey, Pastor.
What does that mean?
Hey, Pastor, mean? Because, Pastor, you get a special dispensation. You get 10 minutes, Pastor. I mean, that's your show. You take over right now. Okay, you're not an ordinary caller. You know, like, they have certain privileged callers. Can we realize that I'm up there showing up. Realize pan Maverick showing up. So when people call me a regular caller, I'm a first-time caller anyway. No change that at some point, I hope. If I call frequently back. But so certain people get privileged and can get through, then just call them and get through. Can me must say, oh, can I get through? Got people who are run this phone, put them through.
Identify the numbers.
Yeah. Then put certain people through. But anyway, the floor is yours. Come people hit the like button. Yes. The floor is yours, Pastor.
I just want to echo the call of the different leaders in Florida. People, you have another possible 10 hours of a window because 10 to 15 feet storms surges is nothing for human to be facing. That don't make no sense. You need to get out of there or your families will be having services possibly without your bodies. It is no joke, and you just need to heed the call and get to safer place. Having said that, yes, our prayers are with you since we don't have the means to transport you out. I think the last airport will be closed tomorrow, as of tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. So they are even closing the airports out. So do what you have to do and get to safety. Cranky, I want to start with the recording that you played, the interview of Skill Cole.
Yeah.
Skill Cole is popular in Jamaica, rated in Jamaica, except when you go to the east of the island in and around Taurus Football Club. It had to do with when he was there. It had to do with financial management and allegedly his misuse or personal procurement of club funds. So I start there for a reason. I believe the claims that he made were you quoted somebody yesterday who spoke about the importance of messaging. It is very irresponsible of somebody the likes of Alan Skill Cole to make the statements that he made, racially charged, in a football space where a director or a vice president of the Jamaica Football Federation said of a player from the diaspora, he doesn't even look Jamaican because he's too white. It is diabolical. No good can come from it. It is destructive. And Alan Skill Cole should be ashamed of his damn self. Jamaica's motto is out of many, one people. The fact that he chose to be a Rastafarian, and it took a long while, too long, for Rastafarianism to be accepted internationally and even in Jamaica because of the behavior of a lot of those who not up them here. Some of them were not accepted because they were downright nasty and unhygienic. And a lot of them was
Pastor,
because of their relationship with...
you try to get me cancelled.
Yes?
You try to get me cancelled, You try to get me cancelled.
No, I'm not trying to get you
But
cancelled.
Pastor, you have to talk about that. Just talk about saying like say and move on, Pastor, man. Come on. Pastor, you have
Okay,
5 minutes left.
all
You have
right.
5 minutes left. Yeah, use up your 10 minutes now. 5 minutes left.
No, you did not. I have not been speaking for 5 minutes, but
No,
I will work with any time
you
you
start at
give
7.
me.
I'm telling you, you have 5 minutes left. You have 5 minutes left.
I will work with any time you give me, but I know I have not been speaking for 5 minutes. Anyway, let's go. Me not waste any more moments. Having said that, though, Alan Skill Cole has now put his name in the list of people who want people to perceive them as intellectuals, but they fit to the T, the definition of insane or dunce, or both. 26 years, and Jamaica is trying to undo what Rene Simoes did to get us to France 98. And it has not worked, not once, for 26 years. And all of these persons who want us to perceive them as intellectuals, as educated, as being bright, continue to sow the same narrative. I don't believe there's no Jamaican anywhere in the world that does not think that we need to develop a football program, a football system on the island. I don't believe nobody exists with any Jamaican connections that is against us developing a system, a program on the island. Having said that, it is stupidity to do the same thing, insanity, the same way all the time, expecting a different result. We will never get back to a World Cup if we try to depend on the local players. Never. Not in 10 years, not in 50 years, not in 100 years. For one, because the world is not sitting around waiting for us to catch up. Spain used tiki-taka football to win the World Cup. Spain has evolved, playing different styles in different systems within the same game, based on opponents, based on where they're playing. Nobody's waiting on you to catch up. And by the way, our CONCACAF rivals are ahead of us in terms of local systems. So we keep doing this foolishness that we have been doing for 26 years. We're going to be in the basement and sinking away further and further. A child that is in the diaspora goes to a football academy between the ages of 5 and 7. A Jamaican schoolboy footballer at age 16 has no more than 3 or 4 years of football under his belt, which means they have 9 to 12 months of football in 3 to 4 years. You take a 16-year-old child from the diaspora, no matter how they are not talented at football, they have covered 9 months in 1 year. So it means that having played football for 9 years, same age group, but they have 72 or more months of football under their belt when they're Jamaican-born, locally developed players only have 9 to 12. Cranky, no matter what drugs you take, that cannot be balanced. You cannot compete with them.
Yeah, but Pastor, I'll say this. I think, if you hear the JFF, Steve McLaren and Rudolph speed of late, I think what they're trying to do, and I hear Bob's Grange talking about, them having courses for like 500 coach at the grassroots level. And at some point, you have to have a minimum of is it C or D license to coach at that level, which should probably increase to B at some point. I think they are trying to make at least an initial, it's in its infancy, effort, try to change some of that. It's going to take time, right? There's no immediate,
credit to them. And I heard you referencing it earlier.
Right.
Credit to them when they do good things, do the right things.
Right.
They are moving, the JFF is moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So we have to say credit to them. What I'm speaking about,
2 minutes left. Yeah, you're good. 11 already. Make it
Yes.
Two more minutes.
What I'm saying is the likes of Alan Skillcole,
Right.
and those who push back against the inclusion of the players from the diaspora, as though you cannot have them because they are ready-made, they are equipped to deal with the immediate situation on the international stage, as though that prohibits the development of football on the island.
Yeah, I think that's a fallacy in the argument, actually. The two are mutually exclusive, to be honest.
Of course.
Yeah.
They are night and day apart.
Yeah.
The ones on the island are ill-equipped, and I've said this before, and some people cuss me out. There is no player in Jamaica at the international standard in no age group at all.
So, Pastor, I wouldn't say they're ill-equipped. I would say they have not been equipped, and there's a difference, right? Right? They have not been equipped to perform. No, because if you say ill-equipped,
it might be their
no,
fault.
we don't say
Let me agree with you.
Right.
Let me agree with you that they have not been equipped.
Yes.
To be at that level.
Yeah.
Because we do not have the requisite skills, experience, or knowledge for that matter to equip them. So let us not fault the players, because this is not me beating any player. This is me saying our football directors, administrators, coaches have been failing, as was articulated by Speed from last year. They failed the children. So how do you say publicly, and this is not me charging Mr. Speed now, because I know he's getting pushback from the forward vision that he's promoting, but for all those who are pushing back against him, how do you deal with the reality that the coaching staff has failed the children, but say these children are better than those in the diaspora who have had all the opportunity, experience, and knowledge thrown on them?
Yeah.
Don's badness is running Jamaica, and it is now evident to the rest of the entire world that even those who want us to believe they're intellectual are real dons. Thank you for the time. I will
All
listen
right,
to the
Pastor.
rest
I
of the
appreciate it.
show.
All right, Pastor. Thanks for calling. Have a good evening. Hey, football guru. I'm gonna say this to you, football guru. I was gonna do this today, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna wait. Football guru, you have an open invitation to join this show, call in or come on the panel anytime you so desire. Let me say it again. Okay, I don't drop my panel thing random. Football guru, you have an open invitation. If you're brave enough to show your face or put your voice in the public domain. So, football guru, we shouldn't listen to you anymore in the football guru. We should not listen to you. We should not put your thing up, because you have an open invitation, which you will not accept because you can accept. Go ahead. Good evening.
Good evening.
Who am I speaking
to? Chris Legend.
All right, Chris Legend. Go ahead, Chris Legend.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I wanna address what Skillcole said. Among other things, he said that a white coach is chosen because that is the person who will get the support from corporate Jamaica, right? He insinuated that among one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons.
Right.
Okay, let's peel back the onion for a bit. Things can be racial without being racist.
You want to elaborate?
Okay. If I say Ireland is majority white, right?
Right.
That is a racial statement. That's not racist.
It's a racial statement. It's a fact.
Exactly.
It's a statement that brings race into the conversation, but it's a fact.
Yeah, exactly. It's a racial statement, but it's a fact. Right. It's not racist.
Right.
And I think we often conflate the two, right? And let's keep on the onion regarding Alan Skin Cole. There's a famous video on YouTube where the YouTuber, a Jamaican YouTuber, and he did a documentary of the 21 richest families in Jamaica, only one is black.
Okay.
Have you seen that video?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I have seen the video. Yes.
Yes. Let's keep that. Let's keep that in the background. The overwhelming majority of Jamaicans who play football are black, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep that in the background. You are a corporate man. In the corporate world, relatability is important.
Yeah.
Friendships are valued highly.
Relationships are valued highly, yes.
Yes.
I would call this friendship, but relationships, yes.
Relationships, okay. And you have to be relatable.
Yep.
These people who are not black, their kids do not play soccer, or they are not good at it. They play water polo, they play tennis. You know the endeavors of rich people's kids.
Yeah.
You know, horseback or something like that.
Tennis, swimming, they do a lot of this. Yeah.
Exactly. Water polo. Sean Paul, the musician, he was on Jamaica's water polo team. These people cannot relate to soccer. Their kids don't play it. It's not an activity that they do. You understand?
Yeah.
So to go in the boardroom and speak to them on an issue that they do not understand and are not care about because their kids are not involved.
So Carl, let me stop you there. How do you then align that with 98, where there are a lot of sponsorship and it's from the same families?
Okay,
right?
hold on. Alan Skin Cole brought up Renee Simons as well, and he said Renee Simons' appearance was the reason why they got on board.
Right, but here's the question though. So are you agreeing with Alan or not?
I am saying
no,
that.
Carla, don't punt. Don't do that. Are you agreeing with Alan or not? It's yes or no question. It's not a maybe.
This is not no, Cranky. This is not a straight up yes or no. I am saying Alan. I am saying his argument must not be dismissed.
Okay. So let me say this. So here's my view. Go ahead.
Cranky. Do you think, Cranky? Let's be honest. Do you think if kids uptown Jamaica were involved in soccer at a high degree, the JFF would be struggling for sponsorship?
No. But I think it's much more complex than that. So here's my view on that. Wait, Carla, listen, because you're talking, so then listen.
Go ahead.
In generating sponsorship, you have to demonstrate to the person who wants to be sponsored or want to sponsor you, what's the benefit of you taking my resources and utilize my resources. First of all, how are you going to use my resources? And two is, how do I benefit? If you can't show in that relationship that I'm going to get market value for the resources I'm providing you, why would I sponsor you? Right? So if there's concern about the JFF themselves and how they manage money, because they were under financial restriction by FIFA, if the product on the field is not representing those companies, why would they sponsor? I don't think it has to do with the kids. I think it's a business transaction. I give you my money, you give me a return on my money, and I can see it in my products being sold because we're utilizing your brand to sell my products. So here's another thing too. When I bring in a coach, how well does a coach articulate the vision, strategy, and process of the national team? Can that coach be a person that go to corporate sponsors and help me to generate resources for my national football team? Does the coach have the pedigree? Does the coach have the know-how? Does the coach demand respect? right? Does the coach have those attributes which allow me then to go generate partnership and can go into a boardroom and have the conversation? I should think that's part of the whole equation when you go hire a coach. Does a coach have a resume to say he's going to do well? So even though my product on the field may not be the best, can the coach help me recruit? That's why you hear me complain about recruiting. And the coach being in England, I don't know where the coach is. He's not in Jamaica. That's part of it. So why is the coach helping you go in the corporate boardroom? That's why you hear me complain about the coach being in. What's the coach doing when he's not in the international window coaching the national team?
Cranky, you brought up some good points, and let me explain how Alan Skin Cole and the whole issue come into play. All right. The JFF has been poorly run, right? So the JFF cannot go to these non-black people. Hold on. And the JFF cannot go to these people on the basis of efficiency and good corporate governance, right?
All right.
The JFF then, because they don't have that card to play, they have to go to them on emotion and good feelings. These people are not going to budge on good feelings because they don't relate to the game.
I don't know. I don't know if that's it. I think it's a much more complex situation with the Jamaica football and the business community. I think it's much more complex.
I agree that it is complex, but the issue here is a part of that complexity. The issue of relatability is a part of that complexity.
Yeah, it's probably part of it. Yes, look.
I am not. Again, I started by saying something can be racial and not racist.
Okay.
I am not accusing these people of racism. I am saying that there's a relatability issue, because
but by making it relatable, it is racist. So here's what I mean. No.
I don't agree with that.
I'm not saying you are racist, but here's what I'm saying. By making it relatable, so here's how you break this down. If you're saying Simones and McLaren can go into these locations and these offices and these corporate headquarters and be able to garner sponsorship because of how they look, that means the people who are making those decisions are making decisions also based on race, because they're not engaging those who don't look like them to provide the same sponsorship. So it is racist. It's just like through the back door versus the front door.
All right. Okay. Let's add. You talk about the coach must be able to go in the boardroom and command respect, right?
Yeah.
These people, they are the minority in a country, and they control the vast majority of the resources. Do you think those people respect us?
Who? The people who are making those decisions?
Yes, these people are a minority in a country, yeah. and they control all the resources. Do you think
they control the majority?
Exactly. So
almost every country is like that, though.
No.
Almost every country. I'm telling you, almost every country is like that. You may not think so, but almost every country is like that.
Hold on. Almost every country, a few people control the vast majority of the resources. But in most countries, the people who control those resources look like the majority.
Yes. No. Yes. Totally agree with that.
They look like the majority.
Unless you're in like South Africa, for example. But yes, in most countries, yes.
In Jamaica and other Caribbean countries, these people do not look like the majority, and they control the resources. They don't have and they think we're dumb.
Well, I don't know if they think we're. That's a very generic statement. I want you to say that because we don't know what the people think. Actually, you may infer that they don't necessarily have good, but I wouldn't say they think so because we don't know.
Okay, but if again, you have to just use I'm just speaking in general. And I'm just saying, at certain level, at a very high level in the corporate and business world, you gain respect by how much you control directly. You gain respect by how much you control. What do you own versus what I own? I own a large corporation. You own a large corporation as well. there's a mutual respect there. You know, you own nothing, the respect is going to be lower.
Yeah, that's life in general, right?
Exactly, but again, you use the word complex, and I want you to take what I am saying and add it to all those complexities. Do not dismiss it.
Okay, I hear you.
That's all I'm saying. You know, and you know, I don't know why, you know, the Jamaican people try to brush racial issues under the carpet, even when it's worth discussing.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, I mean, I don't know why we do that.
Now, I hear you, Carla. Look, I think in life in general, sometimes we disregard things which may be there, but we feel uncomfortable talking about it. So I'm not dismissing anyone's comments, perspective. I'm just basically saying we're inferring certain things which we can't substantiate, right? We can infer, but we can't substantiate. And I like to do,
you know what I mean, you know what we should do? We should find out if Jamaica's water polo team is having difficulty getting sponsorship.
Yeah. So here's my last point of the call. I got more people calling in. I'll say this. I get your point. I understand your point. I think Hagimson's point when he came to Jamaica was he couldn't understand why the golf courses were so perfect, but then the football team fields were so horrible.
Oh my!
And if you look at the golf courses and who owns them, then people can say you can't say. I wouldn't say you win, Carl. I'm just saying there's some credence to the conversation.
Exactly.
And it's not necessarily about race, you know. It's about those with resources and how they allocate those resources, right?
But who are the resources?
No, but the resources is not just about people who are Caucasians. They may be the richest 21 families, but there's a lot of rich families in Jamaica who may be of other persuasion.
In Jamaica, I don't think most of the people who are the resources are Caucasian. They are like Indian, Chinese, and those people.
No, but that's the point. That's not the point I'm making. I'm saying there are black people in Jamaica who are doing really, really well. And they play in those golf courses, and they have money to do a lot of different things. And they may not be focused on football.
Cranky, of the 21, well is based on the levels. Right. You know, the people who have the money to make these significant investment. I'm not talking about owning a car or a house. I'm talking about people with serious companies, conglomerates, Grace Kennedy, PhD parties, Sandals, hidden beaches. We don't own any of those major companies. Those are the people who are.
Carla, I'm gonna stop you there. We're gonna have another show, but we're gonna talk about that as a separate, distinct topic.
All right, thank you.
But you bring up good points. Let me not say this, people. The people, I'm not going to dismiss the caller because some people are uncomfortable with the conversation. We should be getting people. We should get uncomfortable. We should get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Thanks, caller. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Let me say this, people. Because I used to have this in the corporate environment a lot, and I was in one of the few places I was in. I was in an executive meeting when I was in the corporate environment. I think it was a year and a half ago. We're in Florida at the Ritz-Carlton. Really nice hotel, actually. Give me 1 second, caller. I'm gonna get to you. Give me 1 second. And we were having a meeting, and we were talking. And there was a person who's a civil rights activist from down south who came to talk to our executive body. It's about 70 of us, right? 70 people, people who have different roles in the company, but the leaders in the company. And he was talking about some very uncomfortable topics. I'm telling you, especially when it comes to the race and blacks and what I do in those situations, I'm not even watching the speaker people. I find those interesting. I'm watching the crowd. So most people are there focused on the speaker. I am listening in one ear, but I'm watching the crowd and how the crowd is reacting. So when it was done, there were people crying. There were people all uncomfortable. And I said to the crowd, it was done. They asked people to ask questions. I said to them, I was watching all of you. The one person who was not uncomfortable was an older Caucasian man who was the head of there was a general counsel for the firm. Everybody else, black and white, were squirming. It was uncomfortable. And I said to them, I think at this point in the history of America, we have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable people. You have to because you got to look into yourself and recognize some things which are not okay and address them versus show something on the cover and then move on. So that's all I'll just say about it. Go ahead, caller.
Night, Frank.
Yeah, good night.
It is funny. He called all these company.
Right.
Every one of these company have a football team.
Okay.
Right? Business
Yeah,
house
they
is
have
the
business
biggest.
house. They have business house teams, yes.
Business house is the biggest. And they invest their money there.
Right, but here's the question, caller. The question the caller is saying is that money also being invested in the national team? And if not, why not?
Is JFF supposed to go out and talk to these people? And most of these coaches that is coaching Jamaica coaches business house team.
Right.
And them team for the people their money, otherwise the people don't trust them with their money.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying anybody. People, let me just say this, guys. I mean, nobody thief nobody money. We not say that. We say that money may be moving out, and we don't know how it move out.
One of our national coach is still in court for embezzlement.
Who national coach is this?
In your support Waterhouse.
Okay.
Still their court. Right?
Yeah.
All of these people. Westfinco is one of the biggest companies in Jamaica, right? Westfinco have a football team, and that program is run by the JFA Business House. We have hotel leagues. We have all of these leagues. So it's not like these rich people is not spending their money where football is.
But the question, caller, again, which is important. So we do business house because it makes us feel good, and if people in the business environment is having a team, we have a team. But Hargreaves did bring out the question, because the difference between I put a team on the field, but the facilities are awful. Do the business house teams have great fields, great setup, great resources, and do they apply them to football in general across the island?
Some.
Okay.
Some. Because DNG have one of the best fields. Right? And the backside always have good fields. Some of the best fields used to be run by this company. It's just because they kind of scale back.
Okay.
Yes. I remember one time that backside company in Mandeville, what's his name? Used to have the best field in Jamaica.
Is that about Alcan? Is it Alcan?
It's
Kirk Vine.
Kirk Vine.
Yeah. Yes.
So you have a good night, Cranky.
All right. I appreciate the call, Carl. I appreciate the call.
Yeah.
Everyone, every person's perspective should matter. We shouldn't be dismissive. We may not agree, but we agree to disagree. Let's don't be like America, where Democrats and Republicans can't talk to each other. Oh no, in football is seen as a recreation item. It's changing. Yeah, look, I think business people follow the money. So they can invest in a football team and they can see the outcome where they can sell players on and make money, they're gonna do it. Or if they invest in the team is generating fan support, the fans are buying the product, they'll put the money in. Just like it's done for Champs, right? You see Champs get sponsorship because it's generating interest. They can stream the Champs, they can generate money, they're gonna put their money in it. Money talks. Money talks, people. So we have 26 minutes, people. I said this enough, people. I said, I bet this thing gonna go off rail tonight. And I had two topics. The Manu thing not gonna get discussed. Probably never get discussed again. But I did a lot of research for the Manu thing, which is wasted. Maybe we should touch the Diaspora thing. Should I touch the Diaspora thing? I postpone that again, people. Because it needs to get its own show, you know. People, 168 people, more than 160 have been here. 126 likes. Someone don't like me. I mean, I know one even there if you don't like them on my channel. I mean, I know why I can't just hit the like button. People, why is it so hard to hit the like button, people? If you have 168 people, we've been talking for an hour and 35 minutes. At some point, if you don't like it, you should have actually left. Or you say you like it, that's why you stay and hit the like button. Me not understand it. Me not understand how complex it is. Me not understand how complex it is. Now, someone like one of my friends would say, you have to prove to me you deserve my like. I'm going to say, don't come up on my program. I don't prove nothing to you. I don't know why you want me to prove to you. I mean, know you for years, for over 20 years, I want me to prove to you. Come off on the program, now come back. I just said, cranky, with these guys mentally, nothing is going to change. So they are going to always be grumpy. I'm here for the laugh. Yeah, and look, I think Cole has always had a different view of things. He's like a permanent critic. It's the way I see him. There's no balance. He goes in one direction. And for people who are more seasoned, even more seasoned than I am, race is always going to be a factor, right? But I'm not going to dismiss race a lot of times, because as we're seeing in this world, you look at the entirety of Europe, you look at the US, race is never gone. And it does beg the question. I don't care if it's uncomfortable or not. Get comfortable and uncomfortable. Why do we have 21 family and one is only black in Jamaica with the highest amount of earnings in Jamaica? That's not okay. I'm sorry, people. Jamaica is 97%, what, 9% black or something in that region? That's not okay. I don't know how you get uncomfortable. I want to have the uncomfortable conversation. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you doing? Good evening, sir.
Yeah, it couldn't be better. The best time of the day. The best time of the day. I could not have been better.
Okay. So what do you have to say for the people in the audience?
Well, I hear you. Good evening to everybody in the audience. I hear you contemplating about discussing the diaspora topic.
No. It's not coming to discuss it. My view is it needs to get its own amount of time. It shouldn't be shortchanged. And we only have 23 minutes left. So is that fair to do it now? That's the question.
I don't think you can, if the discussion is about creating change or the potential to create change, if it's possible at all, I think it's a discussion that's gonna take multiple conversations.
Right.
I don't think it could be addressed in one conversation. And I think I see in the thumbnail you're limited to Jamaica, but I think maybe you could broaden it, because it happens in other Caribbean islands as well. I can tell you it happened in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And I understand it because I have experienced it myself.
Okay.
And it's bad, and I could share with you. I will do this, and whoever is offended can be offended. Last year, they were trying to select Young Player of the Year in December. And when I saw the list of names, there was my son was missing from the list of names.
Your son is what, about 21? He's about what, 21?
Yeah, he was 21, yeah.
Okay.
Right? So,
and he plays for the national team too, right? He plays on a regular basis.
He played for the national team, the senior men national team. He was the only player at that age, right, playing at a high level. He was playing at the highest level. The only player at that age. He was playing, he was performing, and he was not considered. And when I inquired, they had no criteria. And all I was told is that they pick it from the guys who played for the under-20. Right? They didn't consider all of their players.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's an epidemic that exists in the Caribbean, and I think it's worthy of a discussion, and I think it should happen. You can start it tonight. And you can have it at another time, because I don't think it's going to change any heart and mind with one conversation.
No, because so here's that before the game. I have a hard stop at 8 o'clock, right? There's only 24 minutes left. You know how these things work. We get into this. This is a very hot topic, and this is a topic which permeates, as you said, it's not only Caribbean. It's probably anybody who have a migrant community, which most countries do, right? If you think about it holistically.
Well, it doesn't look like it exists in Morocco, but go ahead.
No, if you hear Africa situation, they're winning. So when you win, everything is hunky-dory. If Jamaica went to the World Cup and they did really well at Morocco, all of a sudden these foreign-born players would be heroes, right? That's how it works.
Right.
We're bandwagonists. But I'm saying in Africa, you hear Obi Mikel talk about the players, same way we talk about Jamaica, who, as the coach would say, have a right to play for England until their late 20s, and they want to come play for Jamaica, and Obi said they should go away, right? So you can see how it resonates. It's the exact same thing we're experiencing. So that's why I want to give it its due, because it needs to have its own program. So my next show is not going to be tomorrow or Thursday, because Thursday Jamaica playing, and Wednesday's pre-game, so you know how that works. It dominates the conversation. But we want to have a really good, maybe next week Monday or maybe Friday, I do a special show just covering this topic alone.
But let me point out to you, and maybe you would apologize to the young lady. You know, if I'm not mistaken, Claudine suggested
Yes.
on your show the other night that you have this discussion.
And then Claudine didn't show up.
But you did promise her that you would do it on Monday night, which was last night, and you didn't do it.
No, because Claudine didn't show. No, Claudine had 2 topics. So I did one of Claudine's topics. She had 2 topics. I did one that she suggested, and this one I want to give her due. So I'm gonna engage with her and ask her when she's gonna show up, since it's her topic, so we can have a discussion because they show up. We can't get a suggestion from her, which is a good suggestion, and then she don't show up, right?
Yeah, I think it's a serious topic, and maybe you try to find someone with some level of expertise that could address it, because it's painful to know that you belong to a country, you love a country, you want to see a country be successful, and your offspring is treated as outcast.
No. So you know what I must say what the Prime Minister always says when they catch him. I do something. A bad mind and bad mind. A bad mind and bad mind, people. A bad mind and bad mind. Don't worry about it. Just bad mind. A bad mind and bad mind. Everything a bad mind. If you do okay, and somebody challenge you, then bad mind. So a bad mind. Bad mind.
Yeah, it's not good behavior. It's not good behavior at all. And they all run away from it. Everybody try to make an excuse, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna do those things, you gotta have criteria, and you have to consider everybody, because everybody is making sacrifices to be a part of. Everybody wants to be a part of, right? And when you're not considered for something, you were totally dismissed. That's not good.
But he wasn't born in Trinidad. He's a reject. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but 1 + 1 is 2. The last time I checked,
he's a reject.
1 + 1 is 2.
He's a foreign reject. I'm sorry to tell you before the game. He's a foreign reject. He's a foreign reject.
Yeah, but 1 + 1 is 2. If your mother is from a country, your father is from the same country, and you were born to them, where you were born is coincidence, right?
I hate to tell you this, but if you don't live on Trinidad, if he wasn't born in Trinidad, if he was born in Trinidad and live at 1 day old, he's good. He's good. If he was born there, left up the next day, he's good. He's good.
But when you're born is incidental, because if your parents had gotten on a plane 3 days before you were born and traveled to a foreign country, then you would have been born there. It doesn't change. I don't think it changed the fact that they are Jamaican and you were born to 2 Jamaicans. I mean, So I don't know.
I get it.
Yeah. It's not good behavior, and because at the end of the day, those people are committed to the country just like everybody else. So I think one of the things that's a problem, though, is that if you live outside of the country,
right,
and you happen to have a brain that's functioning, and you talk about anything that you observe, because look, if you live outside of the country, you're going to see different ways of doing things. You're going to learn new ways of doing things. So you might see something on the island that you think could be done better, that could be done different.
Right.
Right. And if you articulate that, right, you all of a sudden you're an outcast, right? Because you're criticizing them.
Right.
Right. You're criticizing them, and I think that's poor.
Yeah, I mean, the whole criticism thing is, you see, football guru. Here's football guru topic. So football, instead of just saying, Frankie, here's a suggestion. He had to preface it by saying, here's a topic other than bashing the JFF bashing, right? He's talking about instead of just saying, Cranky, Claudine gave you a topic, you've asked the topics, here's a topic. Football guru is so sensitive because he's part of the JFF. He can't help himself. We only bash the JFF because they deserve it. We don't bash them other way. They deserve it. Just like we bash Trinidad FA. Well, I don't bash Trinidad FA. Andre should, because they're lost. I will bash Trinidad FA. They're lost. And I've talked to somebody from ex-Trinidad FA. Last time we talked about the development of the program, they're lost. I mean, Jamaica is in a good place compared to Trinidad FA. Lord have mercy. You think, hey, people, always remember this. If you think the situation is bad, look back, look behind you. Look behind you.
Hey, Shaggy have a song called "Keeping It Real" that talks to that, right?
Yeah. Trinidad FA. Trinidad is in really dire strait. I'm telling you, dire strait. It's bad. It's bad. Of all the countries in the Caribbean, Trinidad was, if you were around in the late 70s, 80s, even early 90s, Trinidad was in a good place, Even in football, up in the mid 2000s, Trinidad was in a great place. You know what? Trinidad demise occurred because you're depending on one person. When Jack Warner went south, Trinidad went south too. Yeah, because even though Jack may take $99 and give you $1, that was $1 was a lot, right? You could spend that dollar.
They can't get sued, They can't somebody sue,
Jack can't sue nobody. Jack that run from America government for much years because he moving money to Jamaica. Jack can't sue me because me have fax pan. Hey Jack, if you sue me, I tell you say Jack, try fight expedition for the last 100 years. I'm thinking anybody said good. I didn't say Jack take any money. I said even if he took, I didn't say he took. There's a difference between I said even if he did, him take. Okay, I take 99. Take 99.5. I'm going to 0.5. And 0.5 enough. Because we have a big stadium. We don't have stadium nothing to do what we do with it. We don't have a big stadium. We don't have a brilliant field. Jack used to take care of Trinidad. Because Jack used to run FIFA. You think I said that used to run FIFA? Jack used to run FIFA. So Jack used to be brilliant for Trinidad. Seriously. And from Jack went down, Trinidad went down. Yeah.
The effort to get us to get Trinidad to the 2006 World Cup, I think was great, and we got there, and there's enough intelligence in Trinidad and Tobago that the football could have continued even after the difficulties that he ran into. I think people have continued to uplift the football, but that didn't happen, and it's in a difficult place at the moment.
Yeah, no, it is. And people, here's why money is, Trinidad is an example. Trinidad and Jamaica are example of why money is an imperative. It's not a nice to have. It's not just a want to have. It's an imperative. It's a must have. Because you can see Jamaica direction and Trinidad direction. One is going this way, one is going this way, given what they have by resources. Here, Jamaica used to complain about not having any money, and money is difficult, and players complain about facilities and hotels and travel and equipment movement. Have you heard anything complain about Jamaica anytime really soon? Now, they brought in some better people, but it's also about the money. Yeah, Jamaica not complain about money no more. Yeah, Jamaica complain about money. They get money from Adidas, they get money from FIFA, they get money from tournaments. That money helps to, if you invest the money right, you reinvest the money in the team, pay down your debt, balance your books, put you in a really great place to do good things. Trinidad doesn't have that, because Trinidad doesn't have any source of money because they're not doing well.
And money would continue to come if you're qualifying for the major tournament.
Yes,
right?
That's the thing. Yeah.
And it's a fact. A successful national team, meaning a national team that qualifies for these tournaments and is having success and getting out to the group stage, earns enough money. They could fund the pyramid. They could help fund the pyramid of football because there's a considerable amount of money coming in. But if you don't go to Gold Cup, you don't go to Copa America, you don't go to it's very hard to see where the money is going to come from.
Yeah.
Those are opportunities to earn money, and to earn that, you create an environment where people are going to come in and give the very best effort.
Yeah.
The very best effort.
Totally agree, sir. Totally agree.
But that's an important topic, and I think you should give it its due and not put it off for too long. But you got to be prepared to have it multiple times and probably get people with some perspective that could add to the conversation.
Wow, I don't need no people with perspective. Most of the people in the channel come in the diaspora. We don't need no purpose. They'll comment in the chat. We have the people who have the individual experiences.
Well, maybe somebody, because I've never really heard anybody publicly articulate why this sentiment seems to exist. Right, so maybe you get somebody from that lives on the island that can explain it.
It's simple as bad mind. It's simple as sometimes not complex. Simple as bad mind. Bad mind.
No, that's your opinion.
Simple as bad mind. Bad mind.
You cannot have the luxury.
No.
You cannot have the luxury of sharing your opinion.
No, everything about mind. Everything about mind. You're a toxic boss and Bailey. Say a bad mind and bad mind, Bailey. Everything about mind. A bad mind. A bad mind.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. I will let you get with that. You cannot have the privilege, right, of explaining your position as someone who does not live on the island, and then explain the position of people that live on the island. That's a lot.
But
of
I have people who live on the island. I have family in Jamaica, relatives in Jamaica.
Well, invite one of them on to come and share why it is they feel that way. I think that, if you share their opinion, then I think people would probably push back on that harder. Have somebody on the island who understands.
I'm gonna find somebody. I'm gonna try to get somebody who actually. Yeah, we'll see. I'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I think it's an important discussion.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Yep. All right, sir. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right. All right, people. We almost at the closing. I won't do Manu, and I won't do Manu, and I won't do Diaspora. I'm gonna save those for another day. I think Diaspora, it would be a good discussion to have. I'm sure. I mean, half the people who watch this channel actually are based overseas, and either in the U.S. or Canada. It's more than 50% actually, and the remaining portion are distributed. Jamaica, I think, is about 30%. So it'd be good to have that conversation. No, we don't have information on Ravel in the money. We don't have anything on Ravel. We don't have any Ravel discussion. Tomorrow we're going to talk about as prelude for the games. We're going to talk about the squad, potential team, and I'm going to do a watch along to people of the game. The game is 10 p.m. on Thursday, Nicaragua, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Jamaica time. Right? So it should be a good game. We'll talk a lot tomorrow just about the team perspective, who we think should start, because it's a different team. It's a different. Good evening. Good evening. Hello.
Hey, Cranky, what going?
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. Faith of online, huh?
Okay.
Let's check in real quick. I mean, they listen to the story a bit.
Okay.
I did hear the clip you play with what's his name, Alan Skill Cole.
Yes.
Just want to say for the record, I mean, I think especially in Jamaica, certain things can be relatable in terms of classism is real. Especially in America, we can say, yeah, racism is real. So basically, Diaspora can understand certain rhetoric in terms of similarities and things. Now, with all of that said and done, what I think I heard, what's his name, proposing is not necessarily true. I don't agree with the statement. I don't think it's because the man is white why JFF went and get that coach. I mean, the thing is, he was even saying, why doesn't the coach go coach a club? You have to look on it and say, yeah, like you said, in kind of coming in at the retirement stage, but at the end of the day, he's probably looking at it like, listen, I've done all this club accomplishment, but win with Manchester United, that's one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not, it still is. So what more him need to prove? Him just said, probably I said, listen, you know what, the international level, I always did want to go to the World Cup. Let me just get that in and done. You know what I mean? And he said Jamaica probably could be that good possibility.
Right.
No, the man have a substantial resume. The man has done good in the past, and clearly the man still have a couple tricks up his sleeve. We've seen some displays of it even with our team, so we can't knock him so far. But I mean, like I start off by saying that we know the classism and racism is real. But at the end of the day, I don't think that correlates to how the way I hear Skill Cole articulating it. Like, it's because of that. Those are the qualities why JFF go for him because I'm white. I think it's more like, if based off how I look at it, is, for one, the JFF probably look at it and say, listen, this man have a good resume, a lot of experience, a lot of depth. He's still there in Manchester United, about to probably leave. And the next thing is like, hey, the opportunities because him have links. You understand?
Yeah.
I think also,
even though I need to see the links materialize into something tangible, though.
Right. No, that I agree with. But I'm saying I'm sure some of that even was discussed in the probably in the hiring process. Another thing we have to look at is like JFF know they've been strapped for cash. So for real, they need that. They don't have an income rolling in, that's what they would need. They don't have good sponsorship, and that's been before even this, coming up.
Right.
That's been years now. So the JFF know that, listen, the only way they can probably, kind of level out with money is by having a good team and a team that can always produce to qualify into tournaments and also probably go into the World Cup. This is why the JFF is not trying to change, no matter how people cry about, listen, like what Alan's going about too much diaspora players. I think the JFF know that, listen, if we don't try to use at least majority of the best, you know what I mean? We won't go anywhere. We won't get any tournaments. We won't get no money. We're not getting any funding. Nobody coming to the stadium. They know that, listen, they have to either lean to one side or that. So I think the JFF is just plain smart. They're probably doing it for a temporary moment, because we even know Speed been saying he's getting pushback from his stakeholders. But he knows, say, listen, he probably even tell them to, like, listen, with these players that we have out there in the world, these players can get us places in order to keep this money afloat and business afloat. Otherwise, if we just here rely upon sponsors, we're not doing nothing. We're not going anywhere. We're not getting anything. So they already know that they had to either pick a side. So it's not the most favorable for some of the people who are on the island. And I don't think all of the people on the island share this. I think it's more like the older heads like CM Alan Skill Cole would probably think that same way, like, say, boy, I did crowd run them, could have take them to the promised land. No disrespect to Carbon, I'm just saying. Put it like this, how I look at it with somebody mentioned earlier, and I've been saying this for years. You can't take a primary school teacher and say, all right, go teach the university. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Yeah, you probably have, a good background in education, and teaching is teaching, but at the end of the day, it depends on how the in-depth of teaching you can go.
Right.
You can't only teach and coach for so long. I'm now correlating it with coaching. If you basically don't have the necessity or the qualifications in coaching because you didn't go do more research, enhance your knowledge and everything, you're not going to get fired. Oh, by the way, pardon me, I look a baby in a man.
I can hear the baby saying, come off iPhone. I want your attention, but go ahead.
Yeah, man, but I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, I also don't think it's a coincidence why Mr. Speed is using a young team and dominating the Premier League in Jamaica.
Interesting point.
He's the only one that has enhanced and has the highest level of coaching. And look there, he's been in the finals for probably about 3 to 4 years and 1-2. So it's a clear relation to say, listen, I have enhanced my knowledge and I am bringing forth that to Jamaica. Despite even we know that the quality of the Jamaican players is not there, but he's the one that's only doing something basically to create that, and it's showing in the performance.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Carla, because he's churning players and still getting results, right? Which is
that's
really
what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's not normal, actually.
Always release, but half of his team always gone for the rest of the season, and he has to recruit more players. So for that to be working for him, it's showing you. A big part of education.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be real. We all know, for example, the football in the 90s or even the 98 can't play, not necessarily say can't work, but you can't really play like that up to now. There's so much changes. There's so much dynamics. So a lot of these coaches that are coaching and them never even do education, they can't even get a B, much less, they step up their educational level. You can't just rely and say, listen, may have experience from board. It's not just about experience. It's about enhancing the knowledge. That's what will help you. And a lot of them don't. So it's like, at the end of the day, our youths have been failing when they get to a certain level, and we've seen it. It's not a question that under 20 showed that just recently. And we're realizing that's why we're not having that success or transition for our local breds being developed into more top-class players. I mean, they end up probably progressing to the USL and have maybe 1 or 2 matriculated to some other local places in Europe. But that's it.
All right. All right. Appreciate the call. Yeah, man. Bless.
Yeah, man.
Yes. So people, I'm close on this show, but because 8 o'clock, but I'm going to leave it with a very controversial perspective, which some people will hate. I'm going to get beaten for, but getting beaten is part of life. So we just talk. Why should I even go there? By the way, let me just say this. Claudine, I wish you and your family a safe period throughout. People, we're not taking any more calls. We're not taking any more calls. Sorry. Not taking any more calls. I have a close, I'm sure. But I appreciate the calls, people. Sorry. Next time. Claudine, I hope you and your family have a safe time in Florida. Oh, the hurricane passed with, I know it's the projection is really bad. Jesus. Guna, you hear me say I take no call, my youth. Guna. You must be not
Oh, yeah,
last
close the
call.
show.
Yeah, we are close
Yeah,
the show.
close.
Right? We are close the show. What you have to say?
Oh, do me like what him name the oral real big callers. You know, you break rules for them and stuff. You know.
That's what you just got. Cause somebody called and I told him I'm taking the call, and I broke the rule. I'm doing exactly like an oral just did.
Well, listen, I won't make this a long-winded call. You know, the topic of discussion tonight has been the Alan Skill call, and I just want to say, you know, to me, the sad part about it, you know, Cranky, I think people that in his, I guess it's a generation, they have that type of mindset. I don't think that I think maybe because at that time, from what I've heard, the standard, hold on one second.
While Jason did it, Claudine, again, I almost said the word condolences like something wrong. I apologize for that. Best, I hope it works out well, Claudine. I used to have a house in South Florida. I spent a ton of time in South Florida. I was there, what, a year and a half ago? I love South Florida.
Yeah.
Not just South Florida, just Florida in general. So I hope it all works out well. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so I think it's a generational thing, because when I hear, like, all right, for my father, for example, he's probably, I would say, around Skill Cole's age-ish somewhat.
Right.
And when he speaks of Jamaican football back then, it seems that the standard was higher. Now, I know sometimes that's just like, you know, fantasizing and it's your time, so you think it's better.
Hey, Jason, it wasn't.
It was the same. It was about the same,
it was
right?
not
I mean,
good.
in terms of the standards on the international level, it wasn't like back then.
We have no comparative. All you have is very internal. So it looks better because it seems better, but it wasn't better. It just wasn't. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree, because I'm at a place now where, okay, I grew up in Jamaica playing football, in high school. I remember that Charlie Smith team when I was like younger. That was considered one of the best teams. And then that's when I heard a lot about the Dendens and the Lenny Heights and those Clarendon teams, because they were being compared to those teams, right? So I know over the course of time, everybody in their era thinks those players are the best and whatever, or what have you.
Right.
The problem that I have is, like, you know, the guy called earlier and made a mention of the 21 families. And he said that only one of them would be considered a black family out of the 21, right?
Right.
Now, one thing I know about when people have power is one of those things that when you have it, you do not want to lose it. Would you agree with that, Cranky?
Oh, yes, definitely.
All right. So,
in fact you do everything to keep it. Ask MAGA. Go ahead.
You intend to keep it, right? By whatever means. It might be fair or unfair, but you're going to try to keep that power, right? He made another point that in Jamaica, most of the people that play football would be, you know, quote unquote, black people. A lot of the families that might be a little wealthier, might be a little bit of other races or backgrounds, they might not choose that as their sport. So in the power structure that is football in Jamaica, I think the class that is somewhat on the outskirts of the financial sector, tourism, all the things in Jamaica that would earn you generational wealth, they actually have the power when it comes on to football.
Yep.
So I can tell you from someone that, and I've told this to everybody before, I was born in the States, I moved to Jamaica, went to school there, went back to the States to finish my education in the tertiary level, so I went to college in the States. And when I was playing football in college, I got invited to go to a camp, I played in the camp, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the camp, I thought I did well, people telling me I did well, didn't make the team. People on the team tell me the team was already picked. So it was really just a formality that they were having these camps. I couldn't have done anything to make the team anyway. I say all of that to say, because a certain set of people in the Jamaican football space have the power, they are doing a lot of things to intentionally keep that power.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not debatable. Of the moving forward of the football.
Yeah, and that's not debatable. Frankly, I was going to say something before I close the show out, which is going to be not received. In fact, it's going to be very controversial. Football is a proxy for life, right? Or sports are a proxy for life in general. It's not life, but it's an example of how we live and operate. So if we're saying, why are you going there, Cracky? If we're saying, Jason Gooner, wait 1 second. If we're saying that we need to recruit overseas because what we have in the island is not sufficient to achieve certain things. Why doesn't that apply to all disciplines or most disciplines? I'm just saying. Go ahead, Kuhn. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's a good point. I mean, honestly, we seek guidance in most other things. You know, if we need help, we go to somewhere for the help. But for whatever reason in football, we know everything about football. We don't need no help. And there's no
I'm saying it the other way around. I'm saying we realize that the footballers on the island are not sufficient. Either they produce on the island or they export it to get there.
Do we realize? But do we realize?
No, we do because we bring players from overseas, so we realize that. We realize across all the levels, but we don't. We are so stubborn in terms of what we have other agenda we're trying to achieve that we won't allow it across all levels, but we do it at the senior level because it makes us money. We're really using the overseas players basically to achieve a certain objective. It's not because we think they're Jamaicans. That's a fact.
No. And that's for sure, because to be honest with you, I remember growing up watching the Reggae Boys play, and we used to have a player that played named Chris Zadie, right?
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in the crowd and people cussing the man, and it wasn't because of anything other than the fact that he don't look like the rest of the man.
And that happens too.
This man born and grew in Jamaica is one of the royal families of Jamaica football, and he still was treated differently just because he not favor the rest of the man. And that was the first time I could remember saying, boy, there's something deeper that going on in this football thing, you know. Because I wonder how many more people like Chris Zadie born and grew in Jamaica, but because them never named Zadie, them just stop play football because them get a fight.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. So I'm gonna give you an equivalent, but it's a little bit different reason. So think about Caucasians in the US and basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that because I believe blacks are so dominant, a lot of Caucasian kids don't even pursue the sports. But then look over the last 15 years or so, how many European Caucasians come in and are doing well?
Makes you wonder, right?
It makes you wonder because you're saying, I don't have the same barriers, meaning I am not in an environment where I try to make the team and I can't because somebody is better than me because they have a different persuasion. I get to play in my own environment with people who are like me and I dominate, and then I can transition my skill to some other environment because I don't see those roadblocks in my own mind or perspective, right? If you look in the US, the Caucasian players, and we can't say European players are better than Caucasian players in the US because you don't have any evidence to substantiate that. But we have much more of them in the US playing at a higher level than we have Caucasians born in the US. But there's no comparison.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say, right, on the whole skill code thing, I don't know who, and you mentioned it earlier, I don't know who started this argument of the more players that we recruit for our national team, the senior team, or whatever team, that automatically means that we're telling the people in Jamaica to stop playing football. Who started that? And
it seems to be something by default that what happens because they won't have aspirations for the national team because they can't get in. But I think what they're doing is then setting low standards, right? If you can't get in, that means you're not good enough. So go get good enough. And to get good enough is not just simply go get enough. You need right coaches to get you to equip you to get to the next level. So we're trying to take short. And here's another thing too, Jason, which is people seem to be missing. If you're brought in no overseas players, and some people say, well, we went to the Gold Cup final with many local players. Yeah, but in today's environment, the players are not good enough. We have to equip them to be better. And people don't want to realize that. And it's not nothing to do with overseas. They're not precluded even get to the national team. What's precluding you and what's restricting you is this structure in Jamaica's football, how players are coached and developed. Because the raw material across the globe is similar, right? In fact, in Jamaica, you may see the raw material maybe even be much more so reflective of what's needed for the sport. You're not developing that raw material the right way.
Yeah, and I think, and lastly, right, I think one of the main things we need to do as well as a country, as a people, we need to when we analyze what we need to do to improve on things, we need to stop the finger pointing and start looking more inward. Because a lot of times we try to blame and deflect and all of these things, when really and truly we need to be looking at our own house and figuring out why it's crumbling. It's not overseas boogeyman. It's not white man. None of that. We have to do better in terms of developing the infrastructure and we're making the steps with the coaching. I think that's the number one priority. Improve the coaches. Stop letting children learn the game of football from people that don't know the game.
I think it's even larger than that. So I have a lot of discussion before the game about certain things. And what we're not doing in football otherwise is developing the young people to just be good citizens. Right? And part of it is to do with the household. It's so complex. You could take weeks trying to walk through all the things that informs all of this. It's not just the football, because the person who's going to play the football don't have the right mindset. They're not going to get to a good place. And if they don't have the right household that they're in, the right parents give them guidance, both academic and otherwise, they're going to get to the right place. It's football. We're thinking football in isolation. It's not in isolation. There's more to it than that.
It definitely intertwines.
I'm gonna give you an example. You just look at those two kids that play for Arsenal, Nichols and
Kelly.
Lewis Kelly, right?
Yeah.
Their mother is always someplace right next door. You notice that? 24/7.
Yeah, they're there.
Right next
They're
door.
there.
Right next door. Right next door. They're there 24/7. Even though I notice just the mothers, and this is a black problem, I don't see the fathers. You notice?
No. To be fair,
I didn't see any father.
Lewis Kelly's father is around.
Okay.
Sure.
But I'm just saying, to me, that's always a problem, right? If I see a Caucasian kid, it's always going to be two-parent. 90% of the time. That's a fact.
Look, Cranky, I remember when I was growing up, I almost had it like a badge of honor that I had my both parents in my house, because almost every one of my friends had one missing or it's them grandparents.
Yep.
Almost every single one of my closest friends had some issue with one of the parents. And I just remember that, looking back, now that I'm older and I can look back, I really took that for granted, man. I did. I didn't understand
that shouldn't
why
be the case. That shouldn't be the case. Yeah. No, it's a big deal actually, especially in black households, but it shouldn't be the case, right? I gave the stat yesterday. People are laughing that India has a 1% divorce rate, which is ridiculous. But then they always have families, right? It's family. Even when they're poor, it's the two-parent household. You don't have to be in the house. Let me just say that the two-parent household is an imperative. Doesn't mean that the parents can't get divorced, but both parents need to be in the kid's life.
Involved.
That also informs the holistic person who you're dealing with. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, look, that's really all the topics I wanted to touch.
Yeah, man.
Great show as usual.
You have a show tonight?
You know what? No, I'm doing some research tonight because I'm doing a tactical show tomorrow. I'm going to talk about. I don't think anybody else in this category is going to even think to tell you a little bit about the opponent. So I'm going to do that.
No, we don't care. We don't care.
I know.
No, maybe we don't care. Meaning we don't. No. I'm not saying we shouldn't care. No, I'm not saying the fans won't care. I'm saying the way some of the YouTubers think, like myself, is like we'll beat them anyway. It's okay. But anyway, it's important. It's important.
I will be the one person that will actually give some time to them. I'll tell you about.
And it's good actually. It's good because we need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So
if you weren't so late, I would just watch a show and then copy off it and see a few words, give you credit, and just move on.
Well, I will. Well, actually, depending on when you do your show tomorrow, I guess you can, because I'll probably be doing it at some point. No, actually, to be honest, it'll be after your show.
Mine is 6 to 8, so yeah.
Yeah, I'll do some time after that. So yeah, look out for that tomorrow, people. I'm in the middle of doing some research. I'm watching back some games with Nicaragua just to try to bring a solid conversation to you guys. The proper content takes some time, as Cranky tell you all the time. So we are putting the work tonight so we can give you some quality tomorrow. All right, people?
All right. And this is Jason Guna, Jason Guna TV.
Florida, all the people in Florida, please, we're praying for you guys. If you have a way to get out, because this thing looks serious, people. All right, so praying for all of you down there.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Guna. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Big up.
All right. Hey, CC, you never call back on CC. Let me pause my time. Well, let me just I saw a text here from the Reggae Boys. They departed to Managua. I think they probably got there by now. Has landed safe in Managua, Nicaragua. I think Managua is the capital. Yep. So they're there on the ground, gonna do their thing. We're looking forward to it. They're gonna probably practice tomorrow, walk through at the stadium, and then Thursday night late, and we'll do them thing. Football Guru did mention this whole thing, which I probably will look into. Not only this, actually, maybe a combination show off the Musa Diarra situation, and then do one on Man City winning At least part of the case against appeal. Good evening. Last call of the evening. You have 5 minutes.
Good evening.
Okay,
Hello?
go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So CC. So I saw the topic where you say why are diasporans viewed as
No,
non-Jamaicans?
we postponed the topic. Postponed it. No, we did. We ran out of time, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it probably Friday.
Yeah. But in any event, like with the thing that Alan Skillcole talk about, but let's gonna say one thing. To me, it comes down to this, Cranky. There's a divide between divide between town versus country. Because if you notice, when the footballer go good, I would think that football now is going better than it was a couple of years back then.
Right.
So we have gotten far better now in terms of some things that we have a far way to go. But I realize there's a problem because it's let's say a country people involved in a football. The president is a countryman. Some of the guy who was in the thing where them said it, not necessarily as competent was a countryman. A person who is also part of the management staff, which is one name that our esteemed YouTuber management, a countryman too. So unless you know us, every countryman can sentence. But my thing about it is that there's always this the divide as divide per se. Right. It's always on a point of some persons come off as superior. For example, if I leave country and come to town, I automatically give the people of my country the impression that I'm better than them because I'm now in town. So some persons have given people the impression when they go overseas that they're better than the persons that are still on the island, and I think that in and of itself breeds contempt for anybody. It just leads out to, and it bleeds into the football where anybody that is deemed as foreign to the country is some the people tend to have a disdain for those persons. Not necessarily for them, but it's because of the situation being created. I travel to foreign. Let's every day you call me, I beg me money, or you beg me barrel and this. This is how some persons view local Jamaicans. And then because of that now, it causes a disdain and divide between when we and it bleeds over into sport. Right. So to me, that is something that.
But if the remittances are the magnitude that they are, which shows that these people support their families and the country at large, why would there be this disdain when it's very obvious that people are not leaving and then forgetting the island? They're leaving, they come back, they're investing money and/or they're sending money back and they're sending resources back.
Because here's the thing, nobody likes when people flash things in their faces, right? So, for example,
so close your eyes.
But so, for example, somebody say, "Yo, we do want some of the best players," and fine, But then a person will come and say, "Yo, why are you guys hating on Diaspora and we are spending most money in the country?" When they say that, automatically it's a trigger word. And you have people who say it cranky, like them come and say, "We as Diaspora are spending most money." So, on the play them, on the for money too.
But that's true. I believe in that sentiment.
So I say automatically it creates a triggered environment.
But you can't take my money and then you just act like I'm a nuisance. You can't have it both ways. Then don't take my money then.
Well, and that's the thing.
But why you gonna resent me for saying the facts? You know what? We should people. CC, let's do this Friday. We're going too deep into this.
Yeah, man.
We have nothing to talk about Friday. Nothing. Because me want to bring this out to people. First of all, enough people are trying to send money. Hey, enough money go back to Jamaica. Me I tell you. Me know that personally. Enough money. Me I tell you. Enough.
Let me just bridge the thing. That's the final thing I'm gonna say. But to me, Cranky, the final thing about it is, right? I think a lot of the coaches, I'm gonna tell people this all the while. I think a lot of the coaches benefited from some some kids who had some level of ability. Some level of ability in the sense that if they trained and practiced for a short period of time, they would be good at something. So you can know people who them look like them special enough. But if they're not placed in an environment to blossom, they wouldn't get further than where they are. So,
right.
example then, Alex Marshall played schoolboy football. He looked like a very good player playing schoolboy football. However, the player that we saw at 17 and 18 could possibly be the player that he was at 13 and 14.
Right.
So his ability he had that ability. Because you don't need a coach, Cranky, to be able to control, pass, and shoot. You don't need somebody to show you that. So you can watch a game, you do a practice, coach see you play PE and bring you in at the team and you start training. So you start training and you get a little bit more sharp now with the fundamentals because you start playing more football. But guess what happened? The tactical aspect of the game was not taught to you to a certain degree. So you still have a little bit of technical abilities, but you have not grown in terms of your game intelligence. And I think because you have not grown because of your game in terms of your game intelligence, other players growing their game intelligence move further away from you as a player. And we see you at 25 still playing like you're 17. So I think that in and of itself, a lot of the coaches have benefited from the talent of the players and not necessarily the players benefiting from the tactical knowledge of the knowledge of the game from the coaches. They have not gotten the knowledge from the coaches because that's what the players want. The coach can't, if you can't control a ball, Frankie, the coach now gonna make you be able to can control the ball. And you personally have to can control the ball. So most of the development depends on you, the player, but what you want is the tactical knowledge to know what to do when your back is against, like a turn, your back to the goal. You want to know how to go into certain spaces. Those are the things they want taught to you. And I think that is where a lot of the kids fail. And that's why they have not matriculated further. And I think like Blake and those guys went into a US college system who actually taught some of those things. And that's why they were able to elevate themselves and play in the MLS. But as I said, Cranky, one next day I got to talk about that thing. But
Friday. After the Friday we'll talk post game and we'll talk diaspora. So
yeah, man, I'm telling you the diaspora thing Friday, I'm gonna dive into it and I'm gonna actually give you some information and me I realize. I'm gonna do some little research actually come.
Save me some work. Save me some work.
Yeah, man, save me some work and come with proper information because I don't want, them say sometimes you have the caller come in and just make certain speculation. And you as the host, if you push back, me I gonna come with actual things where we can show people say this is the reason why this is happening. And I think we have to move away from that and be less judgmental in certain things. But big up in the current.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Man. All right. So let me close out, people. I'm gonna close out with football guru. Hey, football guru. I hope you can. Hey, football guru. You have no concept of balance. Football guru. People in Jamaica send back money for different reasons. A lot of it is to support those who don't in Jamaica don't have similar resources. Support their kids, their mom, their dad, their uncle, their brothers. I am one of those people who guru. Send back a lot of money to Jamaica, support family members and relatives. Okay, football guru. But when it comes to money, football guru, nobody likes to give up one dime out of their own pocket. That's how people are in general. Because then you're giving up something that you have. Right? You're giving up something that you have, that you work for, that you own. Nobody's trying to control everything, football guru. They have perspective, they have ideas. You don't think they should have any idea. They should come here and praise the JFF 24/7 and praise Jamaica 24/7 and walk away saying everything is wonderful when it's not. And football guru, you, the JFF, those in Jamaica who don't like Diasporans, you can't stop it from talk. We all talk. You can't stop it from talk, football guru. I don't care what you want to say. You put a comment them now. I want to address them. Foreign non-fight against no local football. That's how you think, football guru. You're not a guru. You know what? I'll give you another name. I'll come for that name for you. Because you're not no football guru. You are one of the most biased, nonsensical person in the history of mankind. That's how I view you. You have no sense of objectivity. None. You have objectivity hit you in the face, you have no clue. And the fact of the matter is, it's sad actually. Because in life, we should try to be fair. We should try to be objective. We try to exercise independence. We try to manage conflict. You guys don't know anything about that. Yeah, he's probably TikTok. He's probably somebody else. Because some people, when they come in and they know who they are, they change. What do you think, football guru? After tonight, and I'll put them in the comments, unless you call in or you come on the program. Let me repeat that, football guru. Don't take it personal. I'm not banning you. I will not put back any more of your comments up unless you call in or I send you the link and you come on the program and defend all this, whatever it is you call it that you do. So, me now put up no more of your comments. Your last comment I put up for your football. Remember that. The one you just dropped me now put up. Me now put up your last comment. May I tell you this. Unless you come on the program and I'll drop you the link, then come have a real person conversation. Don't do it behind a typewriter. Don't do it behind a typewriter. That's not a good thing. If people like myself are out here in the public domain having conversations, then no, you don't like to be ignored, football guru. You hate being ignored. You hate being ignored. Everybody hates being ignored. But I'm not putting up any more of your comments unless you decide to come on the program and have a conversation. You're going to take you from on the dark because there's no objectivity in terms of how you operate. None. No, he's not no Costa Rican. He's Jamaican. We can tell how he communicates. But anyway, people, I appreciate you being here. We're going to be back tomorrow talking Nicaragua, talking Jamaica, talking the squad, talking football. And at the end of the day, the JFF probably will come up. JFF will come up. But we won't take up any of Football Guru's comments unless he decides to call in or come on the program. We ain't going to listen to him tomorrow. So if he wants to turn up, if he wants to unsubscribe, we're all fine with that. We're not going to complain. We're not going to whine. We appreciate you, Football Guru, for your guru knowledge or lack thereof. Max City, Conrad, Big Deal, Claudine, and if you're still here, Claudine, best of luck to you and your family. Seriously, I've known Surfrider really, really well. I remember once when my ex and my son live in Florida, there was a major hurricane. Was it early 2000? It was a bad. I went to the location, people, to the Pembroke Pines, which was nice, new, nice roads, all these plants in the middle of the dividers. And you go back, you think, well, tractor should have run over it. Probably look like Gaza to rotted. So anyway, people, have a good night, everyone. I'm going to go out with my normal song. Have a good night. I appreciate you. I hope you have a good evening. And we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, where we'll talk about the upcoming game between good old Jamaica and Nicaragua. Peace out. Frankie Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Frankie Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Frankie Life, tell them. Frankie Life, heed them. Frankie Life, want them. Frankie Life. From the course to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Life, get to know the name because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Life, give me my Cranky Life. I want my Cranky Life. Must have my Cranky Life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. Want them, Cranky Life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Life. Tune into Cranky Life. Like up Cranky Life. Subscribe to Cranky Life. Cranky Life coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Life sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Life. Me say fi tell them Cranky Life. Me say fi heed them Cranky Life. On them Cranky Life. Cranky Life will be around. Cranky Life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky life. Cranky life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky life. Cranky life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky life. Cranky life. Cranky. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them.